Are we live?
Theoretically.
Okay. I don't actually know where the... You're gonna post the link, right?
Yeah, let me get the thingy going.
I've got Discord streaming, so.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah. Although. Oh, hey, I need to alter.
I'll be honest
I was
with you.
gonna change my wallpaper, but I didn't have time. Hello everybody. Sorry we're a little late. Something came up.
How's it going, everybody?
Let me.
I want one of you to pop over to the stream and unmute it and see that. Make sure that like my voice, the audio, and your voices are all like properly
trying to get that
balanced. No, it's all right. I'm not saying you specifically, but
I'm working on it. Let's see.
Josh, Christ, he's doing it already. Fuck.
Oh, I need to.
Brett's gonna say something stupid.
I'm the thing I say is stupid, so that won't take me very long.
Say stupid stuff, Rutsgrind. Say more stupid stuff.
Okay, it sounds. Alright, so the thing. Can you guys hear Josh? I can only hear Rutsgrind. Can you hear Josh too? Is that just selective hearing that I've gotten from my grandparents?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You don't. I mean, who am I? Who is Josh?
Who is Josh? What is he like?
Josh,
what does he do?
What's he up to?
What does he want?
Concept.
Oh, could you add the episode discussion channel as well with this? I wish this game believed in fucking windowed mode.
Let me tell
windowed
my
mode
chat
is
too.
actually in
my
window.
Chat is also important. Hi, my name is Mumbles. Have you tried out my Patreon yet? I give you early access to all kinds of fun stuff.
Go support Mumbles' Patreon. Do not support the Spoiler Warning Patreon.
Support Mumbles first, and then maybe Spoiler Warning. But
Mumbles
first
$50 and give Spoiler Warning $1.
Here, just
like okay.
I'm gonna put my link in the chat
link somewhere because my keyboard is hidden behind like 20 pounds of painting supplies.
Why?
Because I'm painting cowboys, Joshua.
Here, it's on my Twitter. Check my Twitter.
Okay. I'm actually looking at your Twitter and I don't see it yet.
Oh my god, did I not post it? Hold on.
Am I like not?
I tweeted it.
No, I didn't. I didn't tweet it. I thought I did, but then I got distracted. There, it's on there now.
So our audio is all balanced, okay?
Yeah, it sounded fine to me.
All right, cool. Because I noticed that in the last few streams, my personal audio was like a bit lower than everybody else's. But,
what? I had it totally different. I felt like me and Rutsgarn towards the end were basically whispering. But I think that
was that around
because we were out of energy.
Was that around the time that Rutsgarn was complaining about Chris Avalone and RPG Codex? Because
by the second episode, it was like I could feel the energy draining.
All right, it's been like a month, more than a month since we did this. I think January was kind of crazy. Okay, hit resume here. We had just made it to Lothering and met some guy who was doomsaying, and then I think we met a knight.
Are we in Lothering or are we in Redcliffe?
We're in Lothering. We haven't made it to Redcliffe yet.
Damn it!
Oh yeah, we have Alistair wearing the best getup here.
Kid Blob.
Yeah, fucking fashion icon.
Oh well, the thing that sucks is we probably will eventually have to get him to change out of that. But there are no male mages in the game, so.
You know, so far we've what?
Well, there are no male mage party members.
Party members, right.
I was confused. I was like, oh. Men can't do magic? That's kind of sad.
Yes, my favorite genre trope.
Men can't do shit.
Yeah.
TVtropes.com.
This is a really big building.
Yeah. This is what a regular Catholic church looks like. Just speaking from experience. This doesn't. I'm not phased at all. This is exactly how it looks.
Seeking refuge, only to find that we can offer little
that
more than
mage
prayer.
outfit. You know, we've talked a lot of shit about the fashion of Dragon Age, but sooner or later, I do want to find some time to talk some more shit about the fashion of Dragon Age.
It's really important that we do so.
Maybe the first game. I feel like it gets better later on. Don't
It
you agree?
does.
I mean, yeah, Dragon Age Inquisition has some pretty inspired shit in it.
Yeah, this game, though...
Like, have you seen Plaid Weave? Look up Plaid Weave. It's amazing. It's basically gold checkers. It's amazing. It's the best shit.
Kind of blew my mind the other day, is that I never fucking noticed that, like, the hobbits in Lord of the Rings have outfits that are just, like, radically different era-wise than every other outfit in that entire fucking setting.
Yeah, my name's Tolkien. I studied old fucking history. Oh, but wait, I don't know anything about fashion.
It's because the hobbits were like the late 19th century English countryside farmers. Why
is he like merging time eras? I thought he was a professor of medieval times.
Do whatever the hell he wants.
Sorry, I'm just talking shit about Tolkien because I'm afraid to read Tolkien, so I'm talking shit about Tolkien.
He worked at a medieval times as a professor.
He literally was a professor of medieval times, Joshua.
I know. He was. I think he was actually a philologist.
He's like, oh, look at me. I'm a fucking expert at medieval times. Get the fashion right then, huh?
So,
have any of you guys actually been to a medieval times?
Has he even been to a medieval time?
I have been. It was interesting.
I enjoy it.
Our night won.
Me too.
So.
Yes. I was lucky because we were going with a carny friend of ours, so they had the carny hookup, and we got
hell yeah,
like the front seats for like the backseat prices.
Fuck yeah.
So I'm holding us here because I wanted to draw attention to this.
Sorry.
So we're born and raised in Ferelden, hung out in a circle tower our whole life, where the Chantry literally had a chapel like on the first floor, and we walk up and we go, "What's the chant of light?" And she's like, "The fuck?" And then we have the option to say, "I should go."
Ritzgarn, is this how you do game immersion? Is this how you teach gamers about your world?
I try not to have a world to teach gamers about. I'm like, you're
good call.
In fairness, most of these responses are decent reasons why a player character who should know what the Chant of Light is would ask about it.
I have a rule, actually, which is that if I'm in a tabletop role-playing game scenario and I want to inform a player on context that will make a choice interesting, then I get 3 sentences, and each sentence is like has to stand in for like a paragraph. So it's like premise, like kind of elaboration and conclusion. That's all I get. If I can't do it in those, then like I really should have worked this out at some other point, because it's not worth bringing up in the middle of play.
Yeah.
May the Maker watch over you.
This is a little bit different, I guess, because it's like more of a self-paced thing.
Let it rise at last to the ears of the Maker.
What is the
Let him
tab?
hear our unwavering faith. Let him hear our righteous dedication.
A bookshelf.
You ever wonder if that's an accurate likeness of Andraste?
A book on a shelf?
Maybe she was ugly. Maybe she had buck teeth. How would you know?
And then shall the chant of light.
That's a good question, actually. Does Andraste ever show up physically?
No.
Because I don't think she actually does in this game. You do get a bit later on where
no way.
It's like spirits of people who knew Andraste, but
no, motherfucker. In Inquisition, it is ambiguous. You don't know if it's Andraste. You don't know if it's a spirit pretending to be Andraste. You don't know if it's the divine. You don't know if it's a spirit pretending to the divine. You don't fucking know. But it's not. You don't know for sure. It's not explicitly the fucking Andraste.
It's ambiguous.
Yes, my lady? Who might you be?
I'm a mage. What do you think?
Call me Juniper.
I am Sir Bryant, commander of Lothering's remaining Templars. You don't seem like the other refugees. Are you one of Arl Eamon's knights?
Do we look like knights to you, dude?
This guy looks
I'm not
fake.
a Grey Warden, actually.
Wait, this is Sir Bryant?
Yeah.
Okay, it's really weird because like
I tell you what I told the
there's
others.
something going on with my
Nothing
monitor
here will assist
where this
your
guy
quest.
looks exactly
The
like
urn
Turn
of sacred
Logan.
ashes is a myth.
Yeah.
It's all on the shoulders.
Actually, he might just be a palette swap of the king.
Arl Eamon has fallen ill, and his knights are on
Now that
a
I'm
quest for
looking
the
at it
sacred
more closely.
urn filled with Andraste's ashes, said to cure any malady. He must be very ill.
Kalen didn't
They
die.
chase
He
him
just
in.
really doesn't want to go back and take back
One of the
control.
Arl's knights, Sir
Fair.
Donald, is here searching
Yeah.
for fantasies. Well, never mind. Ask him if you care about
Yeah,
this
so we're
foolishness.
introduced to the Holy Grail stuff here. We actually talked to the knight who was looking for it and told him his friend was murdered by some random bandits. But it's like that quest is going to take us a really long time to actually get anywhere on. So it's interesting that it's introduced already.
They are. With the ban having taken his men north, the village is left to its fate.
They
We
really
will
should have
evacuate
released
as many
some
as we
like
can before the horde reaches us. I will stay as long as I
DLC
need it.
when Dragon Age 2 came out for this
unless there's
game. It was
something else
basically
we
like,
need.
oh, the Hawk family is just here in Lothering, and maybe there's a
I
quest you can do or
know.
something that involves them. But no,
That
they're
is
they're
so
here.
cute.
They're just not visible. Should we say
Yeah.
we're a Grey Warden? How do we want to handle that? Should we just go around telling everybody we're a Grey Warden, or
Definitely. If I was a
Alright.
Grey Warden, like, every motherfucker would know.
Well, Logain said that we murdered the king and wants us dead.
I
so
don't care.
see.
Everybody's gonna know
That is
that I'm a
certainly
fucking
worthy
Grey
of
Warden.
notice.
I passed the test.
Logain
I
declared
ate
all
some of
Grey
that zombie
Wardens
blood.
traitors
I'm
responsible
fine.
for the
Thank
king's
you for
death.
asking.
You know this.
In a
I hope.
couple of years, they're gonna make me go in the deep roads and fight until I die. So
Just be like, hey, what's up? I'm a Grey Warden. No big deal. I ate the zombie
I don't
juice.
believe
It's a
the Grey
big secret.
Wardens
You're
would
not
be as
supposed to tell
careless or
anyone.
malicious
no
as
one
they
is
have
supposed to
claimed.
know.
But
Nobody
by
is
the
supposed to
way,
know.
There it
So,
is. It is best
Let
you
me
not
tell you how it
linger
went
there.
down.
Just in case.
Anyone can be a Grey Warden, a mage, a rogue, a warrior. Any kind of item that you like to shoot people with. A staff, an arrow, some knives,
I was
a
actually thinking about
sword.
joining the Grey Wardens? Oh no, you don't want
I
to do
cannot
that. You're
openly
not
have
hardcore
no
enough,
fear,
kitty.
but-
You almost
You?
died. Two guys
Take this key.
died during my initiation because you make you
It
drink
opens the
stink
large
juice.
cabinet on the
Oh,
far wall.
so much stink
There is
juice.
more
You
there
don't
than we
even
can
know.
carry when we
You
evacuate,
don't
so
even know.
Take what you
It's
need.
fucking bad. You think Malort is bad? That shit is awful.
You got no idea.
That's
Do you
great.
know any
How many times
dwarfs?
must we drive
They
them
live
off?
underneath the ground, and you gotta go live with them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna
Only
lie, I
I will
polished
have
off
it
the whole
dealt with.
bottle, but
I had a whole
Again.
bottle.
Saveral, those fool
they said
bandits
nobody
have
ever
returned.
drunk
Take
so
some
much.
men and drive
They
them off
said
and see
you're
if you
not
can't
supposed to
capture
drink that
leader of
much.
theirs this time.
And
They
that's
said I
like
probably
too
Who
much
commands
zombie
the blind?
juice. Too much zombie juice.
They said you're gonna die in 2 years. I
Ah,
said
Unless
no.
there's something else you
I'm gonna
need.
die when it's my turn to die. And they say
When
what, you
it's his
stupid? I said
turn
it's
to
gonna be-
die.
It's gonna be 2
Travel
years.
safely.
It's
So
gonna
yeah,
be
may the
like
Maker
2
watch over
years
you.
at the least.
Greetings, Grey Warden. What can I do for
I
you?
can't die
skip
until I've
down?
done everything I'm supposed to do on
Other
this
than the
earth. Like,
darkspawn
drink some more
horde
stink
bearing
juice.
down
Have you
on
got
us.
any
None of
stink
it is
juice?
good.
A
Tairn
stink
Logain is set to
pizza.
declare himself
I'm gonna
king
start a
here.
stink pizza
Disaster
line. A whole
piled on
entire
disaster.
line. You
Become
put
a
it on the
badass like
pizza.
me.
Yes.
Tairn Logain has no legitimate claim on the throne. He may be a hero and his
Hi, guys,
daughter
welcome
may
to our
be
Dragon
queen,
Age
but
stream.
he is
Hi.
a commoner. And the king's
My name
corpse
is
is barely
Mumbles.
cold.
I'm from California.
If Arl Eamon
That
was able
was
to
my
intervene,
impression
perhaps it
of
would not
people
have
from
gone
the
this
East
far.
Coast.
I
How
didn't
did you
care
like
who takes
it?
the throne.
Yeah, don't you know
Oh,
that
but we
everybody in
burns down
Ferelden
around.
sounds like they're from Boston?
Thank you. I have some relatives in Boston, and that is how they
Travel
talk.
safely.
I'm glad to
And may
hear
the
that I
Maker
did them
watch over you.
justice.
A farmer.
Are you here to see the Reverend Mother too?
No.
I'm sort of
came to
surprised
ask
that there
for a
has not
blessing.
been like an
With my
isekai
family
about a
abandoning the
mass
farm
hole
to flee
in
north, we'll
like
need
a
all the
fantasy
grace the
world.
Maker can offer.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to you.
Seems like
I
a
need
slam
to get
dunk.
underway. If I'm lucky, I'll make it back to the farmhold by night.
Wasn't that actually just a Confederate Yankee at King Arthur's court? Like,
Oh my god, you're
Oh,
right.
no.
isn't the protagonist of that from like the East Coast? Like,
Is that the one where he takes a disc player and then he shines them with the laser disc.
Are you talking about
no.
King Arthur's Court?
Yes.
Is that what you're fucking
Yes.
talking about?
You caught me.
I caught your reference to a kid in King Arthur's Court.
I like that one. He falls in love with a nice little lady.
Did the media that was recorded on the disc,
What is up with
or
your hair,
like on the
dude?
VHS tape of A Kid in King Arthur's Court, survive the end of the VHS era?
I don't know. All I know is that I saw that and I was like, my disc player doesn't do that. Because mine was with magnets.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
Mine had magnets. I wasn't fancy enough to have a laser.
There's a two-part episode of MacGyver where MacGyver builds a laser that Leonardo da Vinci invented, so
Ooh.
that was...
Christophers, I've been to an isekai. You know why? Because I've been to Japan fucking twice. That's how lame I am. My only character flaw is that I'm the person who's like, yeah, but have you had it in Japan?
Those of you compiling the Mumbles lore document, take notes.
If
Mumbles
you write...
just dropped.
My only thing is like, yeah, that's strawberry, but have you had strawberries in Japan?
If it isn't too much to ask, might you be able to spare some bread?
Yeah, I don't think it's a character flaw either. I
I
know! After you go to Japan, you're like, this place is the best place! I know I can't live here, because it's not made for me, and no one will want me here. But I want to be there. I want to be in this place.
All you have to do is learn how to speak flawless Japanese.
I'm too tall. No. I'm too tall is the problem. Nothing is built for me. Literally, nothing is built for me. Like, I came home and I had bruises all over my body because I'm too tall.
Good to know others will be safe.
Too fucking tall. I am awful. I had people stare at me because I am so tall. It's tough. It's tough being so tall.
Well, that's not a problem Rutsgar and I will ever have.
No.
Not particularly, no.
Your mother.
You're lucky.
No, we're on the not tall enough to ride this ride side of the spectrum.
Hey, now I'm
Besides,
5'9".
isn't your mother a
You
scary
can
witch who
hang
lives
out
in
in
the
the
middle of
grocery
forest?
store and wait for some tall lady to come by and ask her to get the cereal down from the tallest shelf. Oh, must be nice.
You know
Excuse me,
what's
Lady
more interesting
Dimitrescu,
than
can you
that?
please get this jar of OJ for me?
Mages
This jar of
out of the
OJ?
town.
What kind of
Listen.
hipster flea market am I get my OJ at?
If I get my vaccine and COVID is pretty much gone by Halloween,
Oh, we
I
could
promise
not talk
you.
about your mother.
I'm going
That
to
works for
dress
me.
up as that lady from Resident Evil. She's meant to be me. I'm tall. She's tall. It's meant to happen,
So,
in my opinion.
I totally forgot that having flaming weapons activated just sets your dog on fire.
Oh no, please don't do that. I love him.
I guess his
What was
claws...
his name? What did we name him? Do we remember? Mumblo, yeah. I love him.
Helpful refugee.
You might not want to go in. Tavern's full, and those soldiers are being a nuisance. Same reason the Chantry's full, packed with people who fled their homes. The tavern keeper's letting folks sleep on the floors, but he can only fit so many. And those soldiers are getting restless. They're not here to defend us. They were looking for someone before they started drinking. I hear they almost killed a man because they didn't like his face. I wonder if they're deserters from the King's
Claudia, you can make your own Japanese-style curry. Go on Amazon, search for Japanese-style curry blocks,
Yeah,
and
like
then
curry
search
roux.
for Japanese-style curry recipe. You will find a great one from some nerd blogger from, like, Kotaku. I'm not kidding. And he will tell you how to make Japanese-style curry, and you will make it, and you will go, this tastes just like it did in Japan. I feel a little bit better. That's my little tip.
I like how we're in a city that's about to get overrun by a zombie army, and we have the option. You seem unhappy.
Is there any reason to
What's
be happy?
wrong, bud?
With the king dead,
Vibing?
then dark
Are you not
Muslim
vibing with
local
the
Stiff upper lip.
organized.
Oh, your king
You think
died?
those soldiers could at least run
Ooh,
up the
Darkspawn
bandits?
coming?
I hear someone gave them what they deserve.
By the way, so
Wasn't you,
if we're talking
was
about
it?
curry, I enjoy golden curry roux.
Oh yeah.
It was.
Yeah, the roux is
Hey,
really makes
everyone,
any of that stuff.
This is the one who drove out those thieving bastards.
Just
More
splash
will
some of that
probably
shit on
come,
there.
but it's good to know some justice is left here.
I mean, I didn't
Thank
technically
you.
drive them out, but I did tell the Templars to go do it. So yeah, all right, I'll take credit for that.
Did you see the new recruiters out?
I'd keep your voice.
Let's go meet Liliana and I think fight some.
Look
yeah.
what we have here, man.
Oh, this town sucks.
Oh,
No
look at
wonder
those
we're
people who were
outworking
like
it.
standing up and then they sit down.
Can't be good.
Like
God.
they were
Anyone
supposed to be
Asking about
sitting.
an elf by this very description, and everyone said they hadn't seen one.
It seems we were lied to.
One of the things that I will never get, like, one of the fantasy tropes that I will genuinely never get tired of is just, like, the idea that at some point you have, like, a bounty on your head or something like that, and wherever you go, just, like, these absolute fucking palookas will, like, stop you.
Maroons.
Just these, like, these mook dumb shits who just, like, are, like...
Excuse me, sir. I know that you owe me $100 of gil.
Like, you look like a Best Buy gift card.
$100 of gil.
You like that, Josh?
How do we want to play
if-
this?
Do you have to fight them? I don't think you do.
Oh, I would love to fight these idiots. I would love to fight them.
Right, let's make this quick.
I actually really enjoy one of the things I like about Baldur's Gate,
Are
which
these guys
is like
fight,
all right, let's see.
bar fight, bar fight, bar fight.
in many
Yes.
ways. I think it like does a lot of fantasy trope stuff, but in a way that's kind of like
You know what's
stylish and
great
like fun.
about being in a tavern?
Oh
It's
fuck!
Shooting
fuck.
fireballs in the tavern.
Yes. Blow
Yeah,
that
fuck.
shit
Alistair,
up.
you need to
Fuck
not be
boys.
over here.
It's mostly thatch and straw. It's if they didn't want it to explode, they shouldn't have built it out of liquor
Oh.
fumes.
Yeah, fuck
That looks
those
just
people.
like a liquor fire. Not that I would know.
Which one of you is closest to death? Let's put walking bomb on you.
Anyhow, so like one of the things I like about Baldur's Gate is like in the beginning, all of the dumb shits who like are after the bounty on your head placed by like the Iron Company or the whatever they're called. I actually forget what it is, but it's just like such a diverse range of scumbags. And just like some of them are just like clearly stupid, some of them are like really huffing their own farts and they're just like talking about how awesome they are, and like some of them are just like kind of creepy.
Skyrim.
Just
Brett Skyrim. If you were going to start a mercenary band, and let's say your goal is to be in a high fantasy situation where you collect bounties and sometimes help out like heroic people with stuff, but it's mostly collecting bounties, what would the name of your mercenary band be?
The turd could do nothing.
I mean, I've answered this theoretical question many times, so I can just name the names of some of the mercenary companies.
Bring it
Do we
on.
want to murder this guy?
Yes.
The Brass Rats.
Oh, love that.
The Midden Bandits.
Let them be.
Do you want to hear mine?
Liliana
Go
doesn't
for it.
want us to murder them.
Okay, then fine. You don't have to kill him.
Should we tell him to run or take a message to Logan?
Take a message to Logain and tell the message is we're gonna eat his butt.
That would be number 2, I think.
Tell Terran Logain we are going to blow him a kiss.
I apologize for interfering.
Tell Terran Logain he's kind of
Unfortunately, tell Terran Logain that
You
the
wanna
truck
kiss
that his
him right out
package
of
was on
place.
burned down.
Tell Terran Logain he'd look kind of hot with a goatee and GL.
We're cruising for his ass. We got it. We wrote a check that his ass can't cash.
We wrote an ass that his check can cash.
Tell Terran Logain he's uninvited from game night.
Terran Logain that like that last name is on point, but the first name really needs some work. We could probably straighten it out. Let's do a few drafts.
Actually, I think Terran is a title.
Oh. Well, tell him we're very stupid.
And dumb. We're the dumbest motherfuckers ever, and we're coming right for them.
If you keep sending mercenaries, like if you keep defeating a guy's mercenaries and sending him back with slight misunderstandings about who he is and what he's even trying to do, that would have to be really infuriating, and you'd probably get in his head really, really bad.
Oh, we're coming in.
Like, give him this message exactly word for word. Hey, Terran Loghain, I'm sorry that you're the Prince of the Realm now, but it's very important that I have to fight the Darkspawn, so get off my back and chill for a few minutes.
We're an elf. We don't give a shit about the Maker, right? Why should I care what your god wants?
He's
like, did you mean Terran Loghain? No, call him Taran Loghain. It's very important.
I know you may not believe, but I had a dream. A vision.
More crazy? I thought we were all full up.
Look at the people here. They are lost in their despair.
Uh-oh.
And this darkness, this
so
chaos
what was your mercenary band?
I think I had a hiccup there.
The Maker doesn't want this. What you do,
it's not that fun. But I was thinking, you know how people say like goal catcher? We would be the gold catchers. AKA we catch some gold.
I can fight.
Catch the gold.
We're gold catchers,
I was not
Redskar.
always a lay sister. I put aside that life when I came here.
Our whole deal is that we love gold.
If it is the Maker's will, I will take it up again.
You gotta commit to this one.
Gladly.
And
you like wear jerseys?
No, the best part is that like we don't get paid very well.
Yes, very, very poorly paid.
Thank you. I appreciate being given this chance.
Basically, you're working on spec.
Exactly.
So who do we kick out of the party?
Mage Hottie.
Morrigan, you mean?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Mage Hottie.
I thought for sure you were gonna say, fuck Alistair. Get him out of here.
No, we need a tank. Oh, we need a tank.
Can Mumblo tank? I don't know. We'll look at
Can Mumblo tank?
skills.
Mumblo usually doesn't.
What the fuck is that music? Why did that music pick up all of a sudden? Did it pause the battle music for that whole fucking conversation?
One of the things I find extremely liberating about the kinds of role-playing games I run, the kinds of people I play them with, is that, like, you don't need to pick out who's the tank.
Yes, you do.
What about, like, a court drama? No. Like a social, like, court drama?
Someone needs to be the wingman. The wingman is basically the tank, Ruthskarn.
The wingman is the tank of the social court drama.
Yes.
That's it. All right.
Bring that back to your little role-playing friends, and they'll agree.
Yeah, I'll just ask them, guys. We can't proceed with today's session until you agree on which one of you is the tank.
Yes, and then they'll say, "What does that mean, Ruthskarn?" And then you'll say, "Well, my friend Mumble said that's whoever the wingman is," and they'll go, "Oh yeah, that's really smart. Wow, so insightful. Does she run the Gold Catchers? Because that sounds really smart, and that's like my favorite mercenary team."
Mumblo does not look like Mumblo can tank.
Mumblo is just there to bite.
Yeah, mostly DPS it looks like, and some control.
Yeah, so we'll do Alistair, Mumblo, and sweet, sweet, sweet Liliana.
You can't romance her in Inquisition, can you?
No, you cannot. She is not romanceable, but I love her very much.
Too loyal to Canon Inquisitor. Canon Grey Warden.
Grey Warden.
This dude is very chill for the fact that I just blew up his bar.
You're out of food?
Oh, mess of refugees come in and leave near every night. All have
Man, this is a Dragon Age staple. Old guy who has like a small thing that he needs done.
Half my lot 2 weeks back, and
is grumpy about it.
This voice actor definitely sounds like someone who's been in like every BioWare game since MDK.
Yeah. I think he's the guy in the Hitherlands who's like, "Oh, you want to ask about Blackwall? I would have joined up with him." Inquisition fans, you know.
Thanks.
You know who I'm talking about.
Well, it does have Mabari bones. We could probably make a soup out of that. What's wrong with you? Totally
no, don't make the dog soup.
No, not bones of Mabari, like Mabari treats, which look like bones. So
I'll be honest, I was also extremely confused about what these.
I was really upset that you were hauling around dog bones. Bones of dogs, not bones for dogs.
Like, if you really need to freak out your party members on day one by just pulling some weird shit out of your inventory.
No, Listen, if someone did that shit, like, I would just be gone. I would just be like, I had a great time. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for the snacks. Goodbye.
I do have coyote bones.
Take it up with that bleeding right by the chat.
I'm not. I have mixed thoughts about coyote bones. Speaking from someone who's always lived next to coyotes, for real. And when I grew up, my grandma had a dog that was half coyote, so I have mixed feelings.
Poison.
My father was hiking when he discovered the bones of coyote.
Yeah.
He
if I kept
then cleaned the skull and preserved
I'd pay
it.
good coin for some simple poison.
Well, I have a
beasts
jackalope.
down,
I have a jackalope in my house.
That's cool.
There's
Yeah.
herbs in the North Wood.
I will say the only
stuff.
reason I bring up the
around
Coyote
town.
Saga is to
Some
share
refugees
also that
just
we have a
got
family
things behind the
website
travel faster.
that he administrates because he's the one who knows about technology in the
some
family.
stock, too.
Oh my god.
And he just posted when he was working on that, he just posted an update like to the news section, which is like, oh, we're going on vacation, XY dates. But instead of like a news item, it was just like he copy pasted an article he had found, just the text of the article, not like a link to the article, just the text of it. About how to best clean flesh from bones.
Oh my god, that's such a dad thing.
I'll not have
Yes.
any elves tracking
That's such a dad thing.
People are just like, how are the kids?
I mean, my dad is more like, you can't bury a body in Lake Tahoe, Kelly, because it's too clear. They'll find the body. But yeah, I get that.
Well, you have to add a little
Only
thing.
bury bodies in muddy ponds.
I got a lot of weird dad stories. I think everyone does.
Yeah.
Dad.
I was very much like, I don't know. I had a great fondness for my father, but I feel like I still do. My dad was very strange. He would take me gold panning at like 6 a.m. So, and he would tell me that's the best time to catch gold.
Oh, that's some premium shit.
Yeah, so I mean that's a little taste. One time he came home with a piano. We didn't know where the piano came from. He said it came off the back of a truck.
Good day, Sister Liliana.
Possible it did, I guess.
I'm surprised
So
to see
yeah,
you're
that's
still
the
in
kind of dad I
Lothar.
had, and
It is
I'm
good to see
very
you as
fond of
well,
him.
Your
Very
Honor.
fond of my whole
I do not
family,
recognize
honestly.
your
I had a good childhood. That's
Will
why
you be
I'm
making
so
a donation
eccentric.
to the Chantry? Our need has never been greater.
Yeah, here, take some of these health potions I found in a cabinet back there.
Tell this lady she has to stand up when I walk into the room. I'm a Grey Warden.
Traditionally, those
Yeah.
who seek my blessing tithe
Did you hear
first.
we're a member of the fucking Gold Catchers?
Oh, you get to sit? I don't think so.
How do we
Stand up,
feel
lady.
about their request to donate?
Yeah, throw all your money at the church.
I really respect
suggest
the
30
baller
silver?
move of playing a role-playing game with like an economy that is intrinsically tied to your success, but just throwing away all of your money and teething.
Yeah.
I for a while I tried to play Baldur's Gate 1 with Spanish language mode on to like improve my Spanish.
This gives us something, doesn't it?
It was a terrible idea because like
30 silver, Josh.
We could
it
give
was a
them
terrible idea 'cause I think it
five
was, like,
gold
volunteer
instead.
translated, and a lot of it didn't really make much sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I mean, I think I had like a
then?
slightly too realistic moment of like
Grey Warden?
foreign language immersion when I accidentally
Okay.
donated a large part
You
of my
put me in a
income to the
difficult
church.
position. You must know that Tarn Logain declared the Grey Warden.
Like, I
That's
thought
how
I
they
was
get
gonna
you.
buy- yeah. It's like, hey, do you
Can,
speak the
Logan.
local language? No.
This is hard for me
Great.
to believe it is
So listen,
condemnation
we
of
got
the
this form
wardens.
here.
There is a price on your head. Lay low, and I promise to keep your presence a secret.
I also have like a million.
That is the
I
best
actually
can
also
do.
literally do have a million
Now,
copies of the.
If there
I
is
mean,
nothing
I
else,
literally do have several copies of the Watchtower in Spanish.
Okay.
I cannot
What
help
is
you
the
without
one
risking the
piece of
safety
media
this
that you
village in
have
Chantry.
the most
The
copies
best
of?
I can do. Now, if there may they make it.
God, I hope it's not made the role-playing game.
It can be in like different variations, like different systems, different formats, but it's the same fucking thing.
Sorry, what was the question?
What is the? Go ahead, Redsgarden. Sorry.
What's the media you have most copies? Sorry, I'm thinking.
What's the what?
What's
Redsgarden's
the
talking
piece
very
of
fast.
media that you have the most copies of?
Well, I've got the DVDs and the remastered Blu-rays for Star Trek: The Next Generation. I probably
not
actually have
bad.
some old VHS recordings around here somewhere. What the fuck? Why did it all tap? Hey, why did that happen?
Did you break it?
No, it's fine. It just all tapped
Okay.
for no reason.
For a while, the answer was actually that like
Hello.
People kept giving me copies of Game of Thrones.
You know anyone that can make tracks?
What?
So I had like 4 copies of a Game of Thrones.
Well, did you watch any of it?
No, not the show. Like the first book.
Oh.
Why do you have 4 copies of A Song of Ice and Fire?
Not of like the whole thing, just of literally the first one, A Game of Thrones.
Oh.
I don't think it counts if someone gave it to you as like, maybe Rutscon will like this. It's something that you chose to have multiple copies of.
Okay. That's a good question. I don't know. I'm really sweating bullets here because it seems like the answer might genuinely be fucking made the role-playing game.
Aww.
Which is not, like, I don't necessarily endorse this product.
That's so cute, though.
It is, I guess, in a way.
Hermocrats in chat says that they have the most Mist stuff. That makes the most sense to me.
Yeah,
I feel like Mist is the coolest thing to have the most copies of, right?
Yeah. Oh shit, it's Morrowind.
Oh, there you go. That's cool too.
Yeah, I got a lot of different, like, I have Morrowind in multiple kinds of media. I'm pretty sure, like, we bought multiple copies of that, multiple, like, Morrowind CDs, just so that, like, multiple people could play it at the same time.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, we got really into that game in our household.
That seems fine. I think that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Ever since good King Cailan passed, refugees and
still feel very strongly about Morrowind.
I'm the elder.
I
have my hands full
as a
with
household, there's several
refugees.
games we
Don't turn to
come
petty
thinking of.
theft or worse. Sir Bryant at the Chantry is seeing
we actually own like
and such.
Probably like 3 copies of Darkest Dungeon.
Oh,
we've got it for the Switch, and then I think we both have a version of it on our accounts.
Don't suppose you know anything
That's
about tonics,
interesting.
medicines, or herbs. Then you may be able to do us a lot of good. All manner.
So I guess this is all the crafting
injured or sick. We do our
stuff
best,
tutorial,
but we're
which
out of supplies. There's medicinal herbs in the woods to the
crafting in
north.
this game is
craft
like
in this game?
yeah. It's actually really useful to be able to craft health potions and mana potions and stuff. Especially if you're playing something like a Arcane Warrior who uses a lot of mana. Check in.
Okay, this might sound dumb, but how do you use mana potions? Like, when do you decide to use them? Because I've never understood.
In this game, when I'm running... Why are you guys just standing there?
Fuck you, that's why. You're not the boss.
In this game, I usually craft like 90 of them, and then
you take the supplies from my
and then I just
car.
use them whenever I need more mana to do stuff.
Cool, so we're definitely gonna have a stream where you're just crafting 90 of them in a row, is that how
I think you can craft them very quickly.
People here are already desperate and frightened. They don't need you two coming to blows.
But what about my food?
I said enough.
My food!
That marshman stole from me. I know it.
I'm so fucking hungry.
Left in the wilds was horrifying.
If anyone needs to know what I have the most copies of, it's Batman Forever. VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, 2 digital copies of it. There's no reason to have that many Batman Forevers, but us do.
When you have that many copies of Batman Forever, it goes from like your favorite piece of media to the way you're going to die.
Yeah, no, I want to be buried with them. Like, I want people, when I die, I want it to be a Batman Forever themed funeral. Like, I want my husband to dress up as the Riddler, and I want the priest to be Two-Face, and I want someone to be dressed up as Batman, preferably like most people, and I want them to like say lines from the movie. So
I will die soon enough.
So
just like one person, you just like hear one person say, "What killed Mumbles? The Ice Age." It's like that's fucking Batman and Robin. Fucking Batman and Robin.
Oh my god, I'm leaving. Good night.
We get Arnold Schwarzenegger to officiate your funeral.
Josh,
and
make Rutscon apologize. That was fucked up.
You should
He
apologize.
knew what he was doing.
Because if you don't, Mumbles will kill me.
Rutscon.
I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. I got which Batman movie was which mixed up.
Thank you. Thank you. I will take that.
Yeah,
even if it's a lie.
Can I just say, Michelle Pfeiffer was really good in that movie.
Oh my god. Literally, I'm gone. I hope you guys have fun talking about stupid ass Dragon Age when I'm gone. Oh, fuck y'all. Just kidding. I got nothing else to do with my life. It's COVID.
I have been convicted of
Do you
murder.
think I've seen
Have the villagers not spoken
the
of
Michelle
this?
Pfeiffer Batman movie?
Mubbles, who is better, Riddler or Two-Face?
Asking if I feel
Okay,
guilt or if
obviously
I'm
Riddler,
responsible
because
for the
I
deed.
own every
However
Riddler
I feel,
comic book.
whatever I've done, my life is
I
forfeit
own
now.
all of them. I have every one.
Either you have an enviable memory or a pitiable life to know nothing of regret. The people
I
of a
really like that
farmhold,
story about
8
Tommy Lee
humans,
Jones
in addition
and
to the children.
Jim Carrey meeting before they made that movie.
Oh my god, me too.
I agree.
What my husband says it all the time to me. What is it?
There is no
I cannot
difficulty in
sanction your
capturing prey that
buffoonery,
surrenders.
is what he says to me.
I waited for several days
People are not
until the knights
aware
arrived.
in the audience. So Tommy Lee Jones,
Because
stern
I wish
actor
to.
man, Jim Carrey, funny man. They're both cast as the villains
20
of the
days
movie
now.
Batman Forever.
I shouldn't last
And
much longer. Another week
like
at most.
Jim Carrey saw like Tommy Lee Jones
Compared
in
to
a
your
restaurant
kind,
and like
maybe.
came over to say hello. Hey, we're working on the movie.
Death
We're
will
looking
be
forward
my
to it.
atonement.
And Tommy Lee Jones is just like, I hate you.
I would
I
prefer
fucking
to
hate
die
you.
in battle. But
So
my choices have been
Jim
made.
Carrey tries on the set to be like, haha, funny, like this guy will eventually like me. It's Tommy Lee fucking Jones. Like I need him to like me.
Blight.
And then finally Tommy Lee
You were
Jones
a
looks at him and
Grey
says,
Warden
I
then.
cannot sanction your buffoonery.
It seems like the
People have heard
greatest
legends
story
of
I've
the
ever
Grey
heard.
Warden's strength and skill.
Ah, I love
I
it.
suppose not every legend
I
is
would not
true.
mind a frosty relationship with a
Perhaps
coworker
if
if
you
that's how
told
they
her the
express it
Grey
to me.
Wardens need my
I
assistance.
want to be both
Seems as
people.
likely to
I
bring
want
my
to be
death as we can
both
hear.
Jim Carrey in that role and
Farewell,
also
then.
Tommy Lee
To be left here
Jones.
to
Like if you had to
die,
work with like a
or to be
Fortnite
taken
streamer
by
or
the
something,
Darkspawn?
Yes.
No one deserves that.
you're just
Not
like,
even
all
a
right, listen,
murderer.
kid, I'm glad that you're really good at them. Like, I don't know, the buildings and like
Did I
the shoots and like the dances and flossing, but
Here's
I
your money.
cannot sanction your buffoonery.
It's so funny.
So that was Sten, Kunari before the Kunari had horns.
Oh, like when the Klingon just look like regular ass people.
Yeah, pretty much. A gaggle of bandits approaching. What the fuck is up with you guys? Where are you? How did that happen? Oh, I probably was pressing buttons. That's how that happened. Alright. Here's what we're gonna do.
Oh yes, I'm gonna set aflame this wheat field.
Yeah.
Suck it, Lothering.
Oh, wait, we're not gonna let the Darkspawn use it for food. I mean, come on.
Fuck off, Lothering.
This. Oh, we're not even using our arcane shield. We should turn it on.
I think it's the Sten, isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't remember, to be honest.
Walking bomb is fun.
We used to do the new rule.
Oh,
that all
shit.
man reviews-
Oh, you fucking died, idiot!
And so ends the story of Juniper.
Is that our first death?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a party
All right.
wife, so a party wife. Party wife? What?
I don't know. You're getting into some territory there. I don't know if I can follow you wherever that digression goes.
What's happening?
Party wipe. Is that what happened?
Party
Party-
wipe?
Party wipe is what happened. Party wife is what Josh said.
Okay, in spoiler warning, I feel like Campster is the party wife. He's the one that keeps us all together.
Where is
and
Chris,
like
anyway?
doesn't let us fight too much.
And turns the shields off by accident for an entire fight.
All right.
Oh god. I had like a flashback just then.
No. I drank so that I can't remember it.
Actually, I had a flashback to something similar. I don't know. There was a group. So when I say there was a group, I've had like
Oh god.
probably like 30 or 40 different RPG groups over the years. Like, not all of them had completely unique cast lists, but like different configurations of people that agreed to play a certain game.
Okay.
And there's one of them that gave me particular grief, and it's like we played a goofy game called Apocalypse World, and I made a goofy character. but like the person who's running this group apparently didn't like how goofy my character was, but didn't tell me that. And
That's
so
my
then,
biggest fear, Redscarn.
well,
Continue.
this guy, your biggest fear should be playing in a game with this guy. I agree, but continue.
Okay.
I'm continuing. So he then ran a different game, and didn't like really tell me about it. Which I didn't take that as like an immediate dig. There's all sorts of reasons why that might have happened. Like they didn't happen one after the other, but I wanted to join it, and so I was like, hey, he's like talking to me like, hey, listen, this is a space game, and we're all in like a spaceship, and it's kind of like Battlestar Galactica-y, but listen. You gotta make a very serious character here, okay? Because we're not doing any goofy stuff. You gotta make a serious character. I'm like, oh, sounds great. So I made like Lou Wisbowski, and I found out like what roles were taking on the ship, and the deal is that he's like the ship's engineer, but like he was supposed to have a team of people, but like they didn't make it to the ship before like the world exploded, so it's just him on this ship taking care of everything. And like the only guy who knows all of this work, so he's just like kind of this mousy guy who's in a state of constant dread and chaos, and just like increasingly losing his mind. And like his dark secret, because there's kind of like that's like a thing we're preparing for this game, is that like he keeps having this recurring vivid nightmare where he just like gets out of his cot, goes to the engineering, and turns off the life support.
Oh fuck! Oh my god!
So like this is the character I'm bringing in, but he's just like a really inassertive dude. And then, like, the guy who told me to make a serious character is playing this, like, Russian-accented two-gun, like, dude who's walking around, like, naked on the ship. Getting shitty roasted.
Of course! Okay, I know that you don't really understand this because you're a guy, but, like, this is exactly how men act, is they're like, oh, make something serious, you know, like Rambo, or, like, some naked guy who's got a bunch of blood on him because he's so awesome. Like, that's just how guys are. Like, they just think that, like, serious means John McClane, Rambo, Rocky, that guy from Venture Brothers. Like, that's just how they think. Like, that's just how it is.
Like, that's, I mean, yeah, I that's pretty much what my takeaway was from that. Like, yeah, so I was not super happy about that. I was around for the last session. I think I ended up...
Did he like your character, at least? Did he think your character was okay?
He did not comment on my character.
Oh my god. Okay, so I was gonna say this, Redscarn, as a note. Your character is amazing, but it is horror-centric. And if you know anything about horror and gothic fiction, it's fucking goofy. It's real fucking goofy. So, like, it's kind of goofy adjacent, I would say. That is my note. That is my only note. For you. If I was told to make a serious character, it would be the Athena McLean from New Jersey. And she has a sword and shield. And she fights bad guys. Like, that is as serious as I can get.
Why am I not? Stand up, damn it. There we go.
Yes, I do be Brock Simpson. Thank you.
I never watched Venture Brothers.
This is some wood here.
It's too late. Too late to watch it.
It's too late to watch it. It's gone.
Don't watch it again. It's gone forever.
I mean, that's pretty much what happened to me in Game of Thrones. Spent years with people saying like, "Oh, Game of Thrones is awesome," and then
Game of Thrones fucking sucks.
And then the last season happened, and everybody's like, "Oh, never mind."
No.
I've always
disliked Game of Thrones. I've always felt like it's not fun. There's nothing fun about it, and also like there's not a lot for the ladies to do. And then you talk to another lady who's a Game of Thrones fan, and they're like, "Oh no, the lady's gonna do all this stuff," and you're like, "No, actually, it fucking sucks." Like from season 1 through 5, and then maybe at the end you get something, like maybe a taste. It's like I'm watching all of the Marvel movies now because I was curious about WandaVision and where it was going. Guess what? Most Marvel movies are just guy issues. Things that guys have to deal with that I have no idea about.
I did not like the Game of Thrones show from like there are things about it where I'm like, I really want a show that's like this, and for a few seasons I was kind of getting it, but like I have to say that okay. this is a really unfortunate way of phrasing this, but like, I started hating that show way before anyone else I was watching it with did, and it made it really annoying to talk about.
Oh no, I hate that.
Like, I started hating Game of Thrones, kind of like the Red Wedding happened, and then like,
no,
I started realizing
that early?
Like, okay, yeah. I mean, like, you know. And then I'm sort of like, are we sort of watching the same shit here?
I could do that for
Oh
you.
Like,
no.
Alright, so here's the thing. Like, Game of Thrones, the book series, is pulp. And I think that some people, like, try to act like it's not, but the author doesn't. The author's like, no, it's just like, it's pulp fantasy. But the thing about it is, it's not just, like, kind of fantasy, like, blood and guts pulp. He's a conspiracy nerd. So, like, I tried to watch some YouTube video going into, like, explaining what the conspiracy that, like, the Littlefinger character is actually doing in the books is, and it's, like, literally 60 minutes long, and I was just cutting through to see how much it was filler, and none of it was filler. It's like, yeah, here's our list of citations. This is actually, like, a legit thing that is interwoven with the narrative that, like, you don't have to, like, actually understand it to enjoy the book, but it's kind of like, this is the level of thought that's going into all of the characters' motivations in the story.
Oh, right.
And that's one thing I like about the books. But the show, like, has no interest in human motivation. It likes having scenes that, like, are in top 10 most badass moments in Game of Thrones compilations on YouTube.
I don't know.
This is new.
I haven't read any of the books, but from what I've seen, they're even less friendly towards women. So no, thank you.
That's pretty arguable. I mean, like,
but that bounty
I don't really get.
a lot of hungry
I mean, you know, I've read all sorts of people with all sorts of relationships with the text, but like, I would not necessarily say that they are feminist texts.
You guys, the refugees are trying to murder us for the bounty on our heads.
Good, fuck them. Kill those refugees.
I had a little think about that one, didn't you?
I stopped myself. No one knows what I was gonna say. Man, that sucks. Can you imagine being a fucking refugee in a high fantasy world? Dark high fantasy world. Goddamn. Like, the only way I'm gonna be able to pay for my child's bread tonight is if I destroy this Grey Warden.
Gotta kill this Grey Warden, and like, basically, if you're any disadvantaged group in a dark fantasy game, it's like your choices are die in combat or be menaced by an evil cockney. Because it's always gonna be an evil cockney.
I think I would take the evil cockney. I feel like I could come out on top on that one.
Yeah, like, they're probably shit tier, really.
At least I could, like, get a demon and be pretty cool for, like, a week until the hero shows up and takes my demon away.
Why can't I be
Notice that evil cockney is, like, the default, like, bigot thug voice in fantasy games?
Give me an example.
I don't know, just like, what do we have here?
Oh, shit.
Oh, it's on the other side.
Or like, who's the skull in, shit, what is that game? What's that game where you're that blue guy and you wake up in a laboratory and you leave the laboratory?
Tournament?
Yeah! Who's the skull? What's the skull voice?
I don't know. I can't think of that, but Josh, did you just say the words Planescape and then tournament?
No, I said Planetscape Tournament.
Planescape Tournament.
Planescape Tournament? That sounds amazing! That sounds like a wrestling game.
It's just the characters of Planescape Tournament, but it's
I think
also
I've met the voice
WWE.
actor. Can someone Google who Morty the Skull is? I think I've met him in real life.
You've met Morty the Skull in real life?
Yes! Yeah, I just need to know who plays him. Rob Paulson, yeah! He plays Pinky from Pinky and the Brain. I've met him before. He's a sweetie.
Oh, that's nice.
I met him twice. The second time I met him, he looked at me and goes, I remember you. It was a big deal.
So I'm painting these cowboy dudes, and like, there's the thing about painting miniatures that kind of wigs me out a little bit, and I really like it, but like this is the part that like requires some personal fortitude on my part.
Huh?
I normally lack. Is like, it takes like, let's say it takes like 3 hours to get one miniature looking good.
So Terran logo.
Which you parcel out over the course of like also painting like all the adjacent miniatures.
Isn't that the point, though?
Yeah, okay, but like, stick with me for a second here.
Okay.
It takes like 3 hours to make it look good. The miniature looks like shit for about 2.5 hours of that.
Oh.
So it's like you're picking up this miniature, you're painting it, it looks like shit. You paint it for 10 minutes, it still looks like shit. You put it down, move on to the next one.
Oh, you have to move on because it's drying.
Yeah, exactly. But like even if you're sticking, like you're doing like wet and dry mixing, it's kind of like it requires some courage, probably less if you've done it more and you're confident of your result. But I've been looking at these cowboys for a couple weeks as I've been like going through them, and I'm just feeling like mild dread that like I'm not actually going to arrive at a good end result for them.
No, you're gonna do great, bud.
Well, that is what I'm discovering, fortunately, in this painting session, is that once you apply the ink wash to these guys poorly, they look filthy, and that kind of...
Well, I mean, yeah, isn't that the point? Because they're little hobbits that live in little holes and eat turnips?
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, well, no, actually, these are the cowboys.
Well, I mean, cowboys, like, how often do they bath compared to how many times do they eat turnips?
Yeah, from 1874 to 1888, mainly during the ranching period in West Texas, the average vaquero, or cowhand, would spend most of his time underground eating turnips.
Thank you! See?
But no, my halfling boys are also look filthy. But they look filthy because they spend their time on a muddy Blood Bowl pitch.
I would love to have a hobby like that. I feel like all my hobbies are like monetized these days. So like I can't just paint something. Like what? I can't just paint something.
What I like about my hobbits is that not only are they not monetized, they're not even going to win. It's like I spent like 30 hours painting this team and like building their bleachers and shit, but like, I'm not gonna win any games.
That sounds so nice. That sounds so nice.
Do we want to give this crazy guy some poison?
Yes.
Like I memorized literally all 12 of their full names and their nicknames. And these are guys who are like probably not even going to survive their first game of Blood Bowl.
Oh, that's so wonderful. I gotta get a hobby like that. I currently have no hobbies like that. I mean, I guess I do adult coloring books, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Where the hell do you get toxin extract?
Sounds pretty toxic. IMO.
You gotta remove the gland.
The gland? Oh shit, I have a beer in the freezer. Be right back.
It's gonna
Rutskarn just remembered something very important.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I haven't been paying attention to the game very much.
I mean, we really haven't been doing anything interesting.
Slytherin is so lame. I did like how you had a dog pee on the tree, though. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and now,
can you,
he's claimed this area.
Can you imagine if you had Solus in your fucking group and you had your dog pee on the fucking, like, tree that's supposed to be the soul of some fucking dead elf? Can you imagine what would fucking happen? He'd be like, you know what? I'm not even gonna pretend like I'm a normal-ass mage anymore. Fuck you! I'm Fenris! This war is starting
Blessed
now!
are the peacekeepers, champions
It's
of the
starting!
just.
We're going now!
Bears!
Beats. Battlestar Galactica.
I thought we already got all those. Do you sell toxin
Are
extract?
you here to make my head ache, or do you actually
Oh,
want
yeah,
to buy
who's
something?
Sothis?
It is.
Please remind me who Sothis is. Because I don't fucking remember.
I'm not sure if this is a bit, because I have no fucking idea who Sothis is.
I'm talking to Claudia. She said, okay, or they said, I just heard that Solus is Sothis for a second. Is Sothis the, thief god from Elder Scrolls, Rutskarn?
That's Sithis.
Ah. The girl in your head from Three Houses. That's right. Okay, I remember. I'm actually replaying Firehouse Emblem Three Houses.
Can I say Sithis was actually a really deep pull? I could not have told you who Sithis was. It's just that you were close enough that it connected.
No, Redscarn. I believe full-heartedly that if I needed Elder Scrolls, if I had a gun to my fucking head and the guy was like, call someone who knows information about Elder Scrolls, I'd be like, what's this guy's phone number?
You'd be fucking dead.
No way!
You'd be a dead turkey. I know about Morrowind, the game, but I'm not a lore person. So a lot of the stuff in Elder Scrolls that I don't flies over my head.
I mean, does anybody actually know what Elder Scrolls lore is anyway?
No, nobody knows what Elder Scrolls lore is.
Oh my god. Are you fucking kidding me this whole time?
Okay, here's the thing. It's the sort of thing where I have such an eclectic collection of knowledge, but most of it is not even really relevant because it's oh, we decided we don't care about that. We're done with that toy. La-di-da. Let's get really into the fucking high elves.
Cover any of your expenses and then some. Hey.
I just thought that you would be into all the different gods and whatnot.
I'm into some of them. I did a lore splainer, but honestly that was just mostly about
Who's the guy that has the Jabberwocky staff?
That is I know his name. It's Shagroth.
See what I'm talking about, Redscarn? You could totally save my life.
Is that
if
how
I
it's
needed
pronounced?
someone to say stuff about Elder Scrolls, I would be alive.
Yeah, it's Shagorath. They say it a lot during the Shivering Isles.
Here's another fun one. What about in Skyrim, that dog? You have to follow that dog.
Oh, that's Clavicus. That's Clavicus Vile's familiar.
See what I'm fucking saying to you? You would save my life, Redscarn. You would save my life.
Okay, so a fun fact about Clavicus Vile is that he's also available as a stupid merchant in Morrowind.
I should have listened to
so
my
in Morrowind,
sister.
there's
Sure,
they made a
monster
as a dumb gag. They made a monster into a merchant, a creeper, but they didn't actually sanitize their code as far as monsters go. So the monster has max relationship with the player and doesn't act like a merchant.
What can I do for you
so
now?
they don't take a merchant cut, which means that if you sell something to them that they would sell it to you for 5,000 gold, they buy it for 5,000 gold.
Ugh.
So essentially, if you're not selling to this person, or there's one other merchant like this, but they're in the middle of nowhere, whereas this one is at a fast travel checkpoint.
He butchered
then it's you're leaving money on the ground.
Only one
He doesn't buy a couple
to
things,
survive.
but everything else he
The child said
buys.
his father had found the Canary,
And then they
gravely
retconned
wounded
it so
and took
that
him
was
in.
Clavicus Vile.
Okay.
That kindness was repaid
Okay,
with
how about
murder.
this?
The bandsman found the Canary.
You do
just
the answer to
standing
this.
amidst
I'll
the
ask you a
carnage.
question. You do the answer. You ready
He
for
did not
this?
resist
All
them.
right, go for it.
Okay. What is the music of life?
What the fuck is that? Wait, what the fuck?
Are you
talking
serious?
about?
You don't
The
know.
music of life?
You've never heard this before. From Elder Scrolls games, from at least since Oblivion, since I didn't really play Morrowind, what is
He
the
would not
music of
say,
life?
Though he acknowledged
This
his
is
guilt,
ringing not
even
a
the
single
season
bell.
knight who apprehended him was disturbed by the carnage.
This is the only Elder Scrolls
However
thing I can
docile
get.
he
What is
appears,
the
do
music
not
of
be
life?
fooled.
Silence, my
That
brother.
Canary
The
is a
Dark
danger.
Brotherhood. Hello?
Oh!
Hello?
Oh!
Jesus Christ.
All right.
The Maker
My
demands
God.
Well, there you go.
justice,
There you go.
regardless
That was
of
it.
his race.
This one was fun. The gun went off. You died because of my lack of Elder Scrolls
Then his
knowledge.
next
Yeah, but I
victims
knew
might
that
count
one.
you and me as
So
their
at least I
murderers.
had that.
Okay,
feel
so
like-
fine. Great.
Yeah.
Team effort.
We're fine. Team effort on the Elder Scrolls fucking shit.
So I would like to point out, we are attempting to free Sten, a Kunari, who admitted to us that he just sort of murdered a bunch of people, and then we learned from this lady that the people that he murdered were a farmer and family who found him injured and took him in, and we're like, yeah, we need that guy. Let's put that guy in our camp.
Yo, that is the literal plot of Frankenstein. Hello, that's what happens in Frankenstein, except for Frankenstein's
Lady Anna?
monster
You know
gets
your
taken
friend
in
better
by a
than I.
blind man.
These are
And then the blind man's
unusual
like, you're my
times
friend,
for
let's
lovers.
hang out. And then he's like, wait a second, you're a monster. And then the farmer's trying to kill him.
You guys ready for me to blow your fucking minds?
Yeah.
No.
Frankenstein.
Oh no.
Very well. I trust you. Take these keys to his cave.
Do you get
and
mad
make
when
her
someone
watch
says
over you.
Frankenstein and they mean the
I
monster?
do not give a tiny shit about that.
I'm the opposite. I'm very serious about that shit. I take that book very seriously.
It's a good book. It's a good book.
It's one of the first science fiction
Greetings,
books,
Grey Warden.
and
What can I do for you?
one of the first female science fiction books, if not the first ever. Like, come on.
Super controversial.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was then.
She made that one dude pee his fucking pants. Fucking Lord Byron. Pee your fucking pants learning about Frankenstein, you dumbass. Oh, you had someone else teach you about vampires? You couldn't even write a story that would make Mary Shelley pee her pants, so suck on that. Sorry.
No. This is. I think that people have learned something today about the contents of Shelley's pants.
Have any luck finding bumps in the woods?
They're pee-free.
Byron's pants. Yes.
They're pee-free.
This will help many people.
Oh, so
Byron's poultry.
I did mean to cycle back to this because Reginald said a little while ago that if your entire Blood Bowl team's names aren't made up of 12 most wretched puns you think of at the moment, you're not playing the game right. So I did.
Something more of me.
So I gave all of my halflings real names, but I also gave them nicknames, which I have ink penned on the bottom of their base. And my goal for that was I wanted them all to have nicknames that they would either think were cool or like that they could argue were badass, but which are just like obviously embarrassing.
I've spent my life in the vanguard.
So
like,
here's an example. There's a guy who headbutts people, so they're like, oh, it's like his whole head is a fist. He's
So it is
knucklehead.
done. I will follow you into battle.
Or there's
In doing
like
so,
Bleeder,
I shall find my atonement.
but he's called that because he makes people bleed. There's Florent, his nickname is
I
Low
will find it
Flow.
myself. May we proceed? I am eager to be.
The only exception is Half Baked. He's called that because he's high all the time.
Alright, so now how do we want our party set up?
Dog.
Right.
Den. Liliana, my girlfriend.
Alright.
Yes.
Four bears.
4 bears. 1 Liliana.
First, we gotta get Sten into something more flattering than these terrible looking fucking clothes. Let's see, we got some cool stuff here. Sten can wear armor, he's allowed.
His pants.
Does
he need pants? I feel like he doesn't need pants.
He does not really need pants.
Oh my god, what a
that is
stud.
an impressive physique.
Ooh la la.
Alright, we'll just leave him like this. No weapon.
Yeah! It's happening! It's happening!
Oh, okay, so now there are wolves.
I'm sorry, Black Isis. When I see a beautiful Kunari man, I just wish that they would not wear a shirt. Like our sweet Iron Bull.
You and Kelly Turnbull.
Stunned everyone.
He doesn't have good horns, but that's not his fault. As I was explaining before, the Kunari are like early Klingon, where they just like regular ass humans. But then later on, once they realize how to animate fucking badass, beautiful Kunaris who I want to kiss, then it happens. Then it happens.
We may have blown up
Extremely
Liliana a little bit there, but that's okay.
It is extremely important to the Dragon Age lore that Sten is not horny.
Yeah, Sten needs to not be horny, but the rest of us, who knows?
Let's give him some appropriate...
He's like a cool oasis.
Actually, what...
He's so cool. Yeah, he's beautiful.
That's the coolest outfit I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my god. So, how do you guys feel about the Mass Effect Remaster Legendary Edition?
You've already seen my hot take on that.
Red Skyrim, you don't get to talk. I was talking to Josh.
I mean, I am interested in at least playing ME1 through again. And I have been thinking I should probably play Mass Effect 3 at some point when I'm not
Have
just
you not played it at all?
I played it for spoiler warning, but that was it.
Oh, that's right. Oh my god, I fucking bleached that from my fucking memory.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're not gonna say more about that.
No, we're not. So you haven't played it since then? Have you played the Citadel DLC?
No, I never got to that.
Holy fuck! It's so good. It's weird because I haven't like even thought about Mass Effect in a couple years. I'm really like protective about it, and I think I've talked about before on the stream how I was watching the Game Awards and they had Liara be like, I found the N7 shit, and I started just fucking crying. There's something about Mass Effect that is so deeply rooted in my love for video games, but I haven't opened that in a long time.
Are they
like,
working on another one?
Allowed myself to give a shit for a long time. What'd you say?
Are they working on another one?
I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Andromeda was a bit of a disaster.
Just a bit. Hey,
Yeah.
do you want to see some Andromeda bullshit? Look on my channel. It's called Andromeda Bloops, and it fucking sucks. So... Yeah, there is a game teaser, but I'm wondering if it was just... Yeah, I don't know. I hope... I don't know.
Like, here's a cool game we're making, or is it a, hey, I'm Dennis Dyack, I'm trying to make Eternal Darkness 2, you guys got my back, right?
It might be the latter, honestly.
What the
Because it
fuck?
literally... I mean, the...
Why are there
you have-
spiders here?
Oh man, look at that group of spiders. Don't fuck with them. Oh no.
Well,
They were just trying to live their
Holy
life.
shit, these things are gigantic.
Yeah, that's how they are in every single fucking game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. So in the Game Awards, the trailer was literally Liara being like, "Oh my god, I found Shepard's fucking bones. I guess I'll make them alive again." But she literally did that between Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2. So like, I don't know. To me, it seemed like maybe there's gonna be something in between the other games or something.
Oh, this is where we get Fox.
There's something really funny to me about someone playing a fantasy game silently, and then at some point they're just like, these spiders are very large.
Oh, that cave doesn't go anywhere.
It's not even a fucking cave. They were just having like a Rotary meeting, Josh. You
They were having a
interrupted their
picnic.
neighborly fucking meeting between a bunch of dads. Talk about their spider kids. You ruined it.
Am I gonna get kicked from the bug channel on your Discord?
Yes. You
Damn
cannot
it.
go in there anymore.
You're bugging.
Did we get the bears? Are we good? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think Dragon Age 4 is going to come out. I would guess Dragon Age 4 is coming out by early next year, honestly.
You really think they'll be able to get it done that fast?
They've been working on it for like a long ass time. They just haven't told anyone. They're like building monsters and different characters and like, I don't know, it feels like they're
Blessed are
pretty
the
far in
peacekeepers,
development.
Champions
Up
of the
right.
just. And the stars stood
Me
still,
too,
the
because I've been
winds did
playing
quiet,
Inquisition
and
like
all
every
animals of
year for
earth
the
and
past
air held
10
their breath.
years.
All was
I don't know, I'm
silent,
just
rare
like,
and
I'm not saying even that there's an appropriate comparison to be made, I'm just suddenly having Mountain Blade flashbacks.
Yeah.
So what do you think Dragon Age 4 will look like? Because...
Okay, I'm glad you asked. I'm really glad you asked because I've been thinking about this a lot. So we know it's going to take place in Tevinter. That much has been confirmed. So it's gonna. I was thinking about what you were saying, Josh, about how it's like the Mezzanine Empire, basically. That is the stand-in, and so you see all this like gold and like triangles and like weird that kind of stuff. So I think it's gonna feel almost Art Deco-y. I think as a game, which will be really interesting for a fantasy game.
Thank you.
I don't know the last
We
time
have
I saw a high fantasy game that felt Art Deco-y.
That would be neat.
Yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah.
Oh, Claudia, you have to play Trespasser. I don't know who you usually romance, but currently I'm romancing Solus and trying to get to Trespasser because I want to see what that looks like. But Trespasser, even if you don't romance Solus, is really, really good. You'd really like it.
That's the Dragon Age DLC, right? You're not talking about the Jurassic Park first-person game?
Right.
It's both, actually.
It's both.
God, that game is so fucking funny.
Why are you here?
What do you mean?
Women are priests, or merchants, or artisans, or
this
farmers.
guy has
None of those have any
particular
place
feelings about gender
I have no
roles.
idea how to answer this.
It is not
What's he
done.
saying?
There is no more to it.
Saying
Do you mean your
Liliana
people
should
have
be
no
like a
female
priest or
mages
something.
Or warriors?
Ew,
Of course
shut
not.
up.
Why
She's
would
gonna
our
hurt
women wish
you.
to be men?
What are you talking about?
Wait,
They
she's
don't
saying
wish
Liliana
to
should be a
men.
priest as in,
They
like...
shouldn't.
He's saying,
That
like,
can
Liliana should be a
only
priest
lead
as
to
in, like...
frustration.
He doesn't
Dan.
believe that Liliana is
No,
qualified for this
never
role and
mind.
wants a male member of the
Let's
clergy,
drop this.
or he's mistaken that she's not a member of the clergy.
No, he's saying that she should adopt a role that is appropriate for a woman in Kunari society.
Oh, I see.
Which is not murdering people.
They got rid of that real fast in
Yeah.
Dragon Age 2 and 3. Holy fuck.
I guess they decided that wasn't the kind of vibe they wanted to put out in the
Good.
role.
Good! Why? Why have a character that's sexist? Fucking get rid of it. And if you do have a character that's sexist, fucking have a quest where you murder that guy. Like,
Oh, shit.
I feel like, why not have high fantasy where everyone is like, yeah, women should have powerful roles? That sounds cool to me.
So, we're already able to specialize and become an arcane warrior. So it's interesting the way this game works. You have to unlock these things in game, like there are quests associated with them. But once you've unlocked them, you can just get them whenever you want on any other character. You don't have to do it for this character in this playthrough. And also it means that the blood mage requires you to basically make a deal with a demon to do stuff that would be basically considered evil, and you can just do that and then load a save from 10 minutes ago where you didn't do that, and then not do that and still be a blood mage because you unlocked the specialization. It's so dumb.
That is the true blood mage power. Do that. Do that thing.
Well, we're gonna be an arcane warrior first. I think that it's 7 and 14 when we get specializations. All right, how much cunning do we need to? Hang on, skills. 16 cunning total. Okay, so we'll get up to the 16 cunning and put the rest into probably willpower and magic. All right, arcane warrior. There we go. We want combat magic, which allows us to use our magic stat in place of strength for the purpose. Actually, I think we can actually. Okay, yeah, we can do that for weapons and armor, even if it's not turned on. All right, so here is how the arcane warrior works. The arcane warrior is designed around massive sustain abilities. So we can turn combat magic on, which will allow us to use spell power for combat advantage and stuff. But it takes 50% of our mana. Or actually, that's weird. That didn't look like 50%. Is it? Well, maybe it is 50% because those are both 5%. So, yeah, okay.
I don't know. I've suddenly started thinking about what are the actual So this game had one of its big deals was this ain't your daddy's fantasy. It's got serious themes in it. It's got your daddy's fantasy did actually have quote unquote serious themes in it, but I guess what they meant is we're making a fantasy game that's about some stuff. It's got dark shit in it. But it's been a long time since I've played it. And it occurred to me that I never actually sat down and interrogated what, if anything, motivated that decision. Was it really just because it's very plausible, isn't it? That the people who were in Bioware at that time just wanted to have that cachet. They just wanted to be this is our Game of Thrones. It's all because it would have been the books probably that they would have been fans of at that point. It's yeah, this is our edgy new fantasy.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, you mentioned like they walk back all the sexist stuff, and that's unambiguously the right decision for this franchise. Because what does it actually end up adding?
Expand on that thought, please.
Like, what does having Sten be like a sexist character, or like having those roles, end up adding to this game?
Yeah.
Like, what would like?
Well,
this is such an escapist fantasy.
So I think like I can't speak for high fantasy in the 60s and 70s and 80s, right? But I can speak for high fantasy now, and I feel like you should use fantasy in a way to express normal things that people go through in a supernatural manner. So like, for example, there's this book where they have this thing called the dragon, where the dragon's actually this guy who takes a girl from the town every 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's about like how being a woman means you have to maneuver yourself in a world differently than men. And I think like using high fantasy for that is really cool, but I don't think using high fantasy for building arbitrary systems of sexism that doesn't amount to anything and doesn't get overturned at some point is pointless.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
The people who wrote this game, I never actually, like, okay, so it's been a long time since I've played it, but, like, I can't remember a moment in Dragon Age where I was ever like, damn, like, that really makes me feel, that really moves me, or, like, this is really a story that I felt like needed to be told.
Yeah.
I know that I've read some pieces from people who disagreed, and, like, you know, that's a thing that kind of, I think, gets forgotten sometimes, that everybody has different reactions to media, even that's not perfect.
Yeah.
But, like, I think that they kind of realized by the time of, like, Dragon Age 2 and Dragon Age Inquisition that, like, the stuff that they were putting out there in this game that was sticking was not the stuff that maybe got them excited to play with in the first place.
I see.
Mind if I ask what brings
I
you
just
out
feel
here?
like,
Perhaps we're going the same way.
I don't know. I think the beauty of Dragon Age specifically is
Great
that
wolves.
it gives women the chance
that
to
does
have a
rather
power
explain a lot.
fantasy.
No
And I
offense,
don't
but
think there's
I
a lot of
suspect
other games
there's
that
more
provide
excitement
that
in your
except for
path
maybe
than my
Mass
boy
Effect.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I
farewell
think
and
that
good fortune.
for Dragon Age to be
Goodbye.
successful, in my
Damn it.
opinion,
Let's get this
is
mess
they
cleaned up, shall
let
we?
you kind of superficially fight against little things that might be sexist, but overall, you can walk into a room and say, I'm the fucking leader of the Inquisition, and no one goes, but you're a woman! You know what I mean? Like, you don't have that shit. It's like, no, I get to exist in this space and be a woman and still be powerful. And I think like that is something that Dragon Age can offer fans.
Yeah, and it's like if they'd kind of stayed this course, they wouldn't have accessed that. And that's something that ended up being such a key part of like their appeal to a large part of their players.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree. Yeah, it's tough. Like, I think like fantasy as itself can be utilized in a lot of different ways, but when it comes to video games, there's something really special about the power fantasy, and I think that it shouldn't be something that's taken away from video games. I think you should be able to sit down with a game and be like, I am this fire mage who can open up rifts, and I'm a woman, you know?
There's room for games that are not about power fantasy, but I wouldn't want power fantasy games to go away entirely either.
Right. And I think men should have them too. I'm not saying that men shouldn't have power fantasy games. I think that's just as important. I think that guys should have power fantasy games too that make them feel open to express their feelings as well. It's not just, I'm gonna hit someone with my sword. It's also like this power fantasy of being able to be like, I have friends and I care about people. That's something that you don't always get to express as a man, I feel like. And so that is really important. But I don't ever think that BioWare should ever step away from creating the perfect power fantasy in a nerd universe that we can all love.
I think that like that ended up being their strengths, and I think that like the parts of this game that aren't that ended up falling kind of flat.
Why, Mumbles, are you saying that Anthem was a mistake?
Insane. This is my roundabout way to say Anthem was a fucking mistake.
completely forgot that they did Anthem.
I don't know if it's really a dragon, but it sure
Like
looks
they
like
announced about 12 months ago that they were going
yes,
to do a big game revamp, and we just haven't heard anything from them since.
You can block
12 months ago, they announced that they did develop Anthem. Have you guys heard of it? We released it like a couple years ago. It's really good. You should try it.
Anyhow,
oh my God.
When I heard you thrashing around, I thought I should tell you.
I remember like when they came out with the news that was like Anthem's not going to have romances in it, and everyone was like, "The fuck? What's even the point of this game then?"
I lost my fucking mind because I was already so sad because early on in Anthem's development, you heard that Mass Effect and Dragon Age teams were being pulled to work on fucking Anthem, and I was like, those are my.
Anyhow,
please
you're up now, right?
Them.
Let's pull up
and then you find like
on.
they're not even doing romances. You're like, what the point?
It's a conversation that comes up a lot, by the way, in tabletop role-playing game circles.
Romance?
Oh, hey, look, it's the
Well,
DLC
romance
guy.
does actually come up a lot, but I was sort of getting around to like power fantasies and like creating and depicting scenarios of like prejudice or bigotry.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's sometimes a frustrating conversation to have.
Consider him a friend, I did.
I mean, part of
am
it's for
carrying
obvious
on
reasons,
while
which
you
is
have a
that like
blight
the
to
origins
stop.
of the game
Don't want to waste
are
your
not
time.
like are
But you see,
belong
Duncan
to
promised that together we'd
a
look into something
demographic of players
important for
that
the
is
warden.
not
Right.
very happy about
And
the
for
idea of
me.
people muscling
Of
in on
course
their
that
hobby
is.
and having a good time.
Right.
It's like my power
A tragedy
fantasy
it is,
involves
at
the
that.
subjugation of
But I
others.
know he would want his work
Right.
carried on.
I understand that.
His pledge
Yeah.
fulfilled.
It also can be an annoying conversation to have sometimes. This is
My
not a
family
thing with like
were
developers so
paths a
much,
bit checkered to see.
but like
Nobles look at us with
the kids
disdain.
approach like
My
younger people
great-great-grandmother,
approach
Sophia
like
Dryden,
tabletop
was the
gaming
last
and discover
warden
that
commander
like
of
the
Ferelden
power
back when the
of a
wardens
tabletop
were known as
role-playing game power
freeloaders.
fantasy, which is
So
amazing
King Olin
because it's like
banished
you get
the
to
wardens, and he
create
took
a
House
context
Dryden's land
with any parameters you want.
Yeah.
And if you face like systemic oppression, you get to create a context without
Hard to
that,
say.
and then
After
occupy
King
it,
Olin died,
Right.
the
kind of
Civil
simulate
War
whatever
rose
experience you
his
want.
Yeah.
And
Our
it's,
family
I think
was
it's
on the
very
run,
important to
hunted by
like,
enemies,
especially when
with
you're making
nary a
games like
friend
D&D
in the
Pathfinder,
world.
it's very important to be
Dryden's are tough.
mindful of that
Rebuilt,
because that's such a
became
powerful
merchants,
thing,
never lost
and it
our
gives you
pride.
so much access. And then you sort of get to people who've like occupied this power fantasy, and like that's really mostly what they're interested
Our
in.
family's only crime
Which is
was
like
guarding the
I think
kingdom
honestly
against
what a
the
lot of people who
blight.
play role-playing games
Not
like
ashamed of
most.
that.
Really? Power fantasies and role I'm
Ask for the
being
truth.
serious. Like
My family
I always
reveres
thought like
Sophia
if you play a
Dryden.
tabletop
We
game,
know
you're
she died,
you're
the
trying
old
to
Grey
create a
Warden
character
bade
that's
soldiers
interesting, not
We
necessarily a
want
character
evidence
that
to
is
clear her
like
name.
this
They won't
is
restore
me
our
but
land
leveled
or our
up.
fathers,
It's
but
hand
he'll
in glove.
restore
I think
our
like
honor.
the thing I've talked about this with like a lot of other people,
Well, no one's
including my
been
wife.
soldier's
It's like
pick since Olin's
the
days.
character archetype you come back to,
back.
or like your
I
first
spent
character,
years
often
mapping the maze of
represents
tunnels to the
something
peak,
about yourself
and I
that you
found the way
don't
a few
normally
years
express.
So I went to Duncan.
So
I did.
example,
God.
my
Said that he
my
could reclaim
characters,
the old
like my
base
thing with
and
my
my
character
family
archetypes was
could
they
have
were
its
all
honor.
like kind of assholes. They're all like jerks, really. This
But
is me as like a teenager or adult.
But you're so nice, Rescard.
That's
He's not nice when
what
he's
I'm
your
saying.
pirate captain.
No,
Is it
he's
like-
such a sweetie.
That's exactly it. Like I don't like being aggressive. I don't like being in people's faces. I want everybody to like me, and it's actually so much
Darkspawn
the case
surfaced
that
in
it's a
Sun
problem
for
for
Eldon,
me.
and Duncan got
Like
busy
I would
recruiting
grow up
new wardens and
watching
meeting
like
with
movies
good
and
King
stuff,
Caleb.
and like the villain would be like
Duncan
really
said he would
cordial
help
and nice
after
to the
the Battle of
hero,
Ostergar.
and the hero would be a jerk to them,
Said
and
it
I'd be
might
like,
be
no, you
useful
can't do
things
that.
at the
Just be
peak.
nice. He might
But
be
he
your
never had
friend.
a chance.
And so like when I
could pick
played,
my way
when I
through
sort of
the
became an
tunnels at the
adult
base
and
of
like had a
Soldier's
little bit of
Peak.
maturity, and I was like creating my own characters,
they say
I find
it's
myself
haunted.
coming back to these huge
And it'll be
dickbags
dangerous for
who are
certain.
just like
Oh,
really in your
wow.
face
Think on
and
it,
don't
at
give a
least.
shit, and it's so much fun because that's kind of my power fantasy,
Soldier's
is
Peak
not
is
really giving a
strategic and
fuck.
symbolic and
Wow.
important. Duncan said that it would be worth it right there.
Wow.
He
That's so
also had to
interesting.
recover lost warden
That's so
history and
opposite
perhaps a few
from
old
me.
relics. No one knows what's up there now.
Like my power fantasy is always like I am so
Thousand blessings
harmonious
upon you,
and I
Warden.
always
I'll
know the
mark
right
down
thing
the
to
location on your
say
map.
and I have
When we're
so
ready,
much fucking
we'll pick our way
knowledge
through
and
the
I'm
tunnels
just
together.
the best at charisma. And that's just not me. That's not me. Like my actual personality is much more abrasive and like weird, right? But I would love to be a person who's just like sly and cool and like knows a lot of shit about geometry or whatever. Like, this is not me.
Like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like it's a part of your set. It's part of you, and it's something like you aspire to, but it's not something that you necessarily have the energy or the courage or like the focus to pull off all the time.
Totally. Wow. Yeah. Big time.
So anyway, but like I was actually. What I'm getting into is that, like, the thing is, if you stick around with role-playing games long enough, or if you start with a certain kind of group, you end up discovering that that's not all role-playing can be, and that, like, there's all sorts of things that people get out of tabletop experience because it's such a, like, a versatile and powerful form factor. So you sometimes get into issues where you do have, like, kind of, like, younger players who associate D&D with kind of being, like, a release valve. Who look at other smaller games and kind of like, no, you can't make this kind of game.
I see.
Because this, like, because this isn't like liberty. Because this game is oppressive. Because this game is like, it makes you feel bad.
It's a process.
Also, side note, Sandals here. He's my sweet boy.
Oh, yes.
I love Sandals so much. And there's a hint of him in Inquisition, did you know?
I was wondering, like, I can't remember if he was in Inquisition or not.
Okay, so he's definitely in Dragon Age 2. In Inquisition, in the Trespasser DLC, if you go behind a building, it's totally... You cannot find it anywhere. If you go behind a building, there's this whole thing about how he... Okay, so I guess spoiler warning. Sandal is very, very powerful, secretly.
Right.
And so there's this whole thing about how he's destroyed all these people in the Fade while he was trying to set up his enchantment shop. Because they were, like, trying to attack him, so he had to, like, blow them up so he could build up his shop. But anyway, it's only in Trespasser. It's behind a building. It's really hard to find. Just like there is a secret chapter to Hard in Hightown by Varric in fucking Trespasser, and it is dependent on who you kill in the Fade against the fear monster. So if you've killed a female hawk, it will be a different chapter than if you've killed Loghain, which is real fun.
That's interesting.
Yes. I really recommend playing the Trespasser DLC. It's one of the smartest and most innovative things that BioWare has ever made. And it's not like the Citadel DLC, which felt like, here's all the people from Mass Effect you like. Here's some jokes about Mass Effect. Trespasser is like, we know that you care about this lore. We know that you care about these characters. We're gonna go as hard as we can with you. And, like, that's what it felt like.
What? What the fuck are these? Chastity Belt Gift?
Yeah, I remember that shit.
Is that for Zevran?
Yes, it is.
Wait, what? What the fuck is that nasty boy doing with those?
I swear to fucking God it is.
I guess that's like DLC gifts or something.
Yeah. That's why I think Sandal's even here, is for the DLC.
Wait, what the fuck is it? Wait, hang on. Is everyone gonna make you like his fucking key holder? Is that what's going on there?
I mean, maybe.
I mean, he sounds like he'd be into that.
He does. That's okay. That's also one of my favorite role-playing archetypes. But like, okay, to kind of get into this, like, with tabletop gaming, it's different than like playing a computer role-playing game, because in a computer role-playing game, you're sort of
don't have to do
there's like an author who created something which you can't really interfere with or interact with. Whereas in a tabletop role-playing game, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to interject before you go on. The other thing about computer stuff is that you don't have an audience. I feel like with tabletop, you have an audience. So it's not just you're playing by certain rules. You're also looking across the table against, like, someone else that will be in your party who is your friend in real life. Like, I would make a character that I think all of you would like if we were to play a role-playing game together, because I wouldn't want to offend you. You know what I mean?
I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna end up playing like D&D or something when we get to the deep deep roads.
I don't think.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. Well, we could potentially run into the Fade pretty soon here too, and that's a pretty long segment as well. So
is it?
Well, okay, so
Or so he
Here's the way I usually play this game. Redcliffe first, and then at Redcliffe you get told you have to go to the Mage's Circle. Then at the Mage's Circle there's a bit where you're in the Fade for like 5 hours.
Not that I mean to pry.
And then you solve the Mage's Circle, and you go back to Redcliffe and solve Redcliffe. Well, no, actually, then you go on the fucking Holy Grail quest, and then you solve Redcliffe. Redcliffe is long, but I usually go there first because it makes sense.
Yes, I imagine you really have.
Do we want to spend some time talking to all the companions in here, or do we want to just, like, go?
I mean it. It was good to talk about it. At least
Your dealer's choice. I was still whittering out about tabletop role-playing games. So.
Yeah, we were just having a discussion that had nothing to do with companion conversations, so...
You want to try to jump Alistair's bones, that's on you.
Yeah, I think you can bone him, like, soon, too. I think he's the easiest to bone.
There are darkspawn to be fought. Is this delay needful?
But like, so yeah, it's like
you are
in tabletop games, especially if like you're playing rules that use consent systems, where like there's a way to address something that's uncomfortable immediately and kind of a system in place to like handle it and figure out how to run through it or how to reverse it.
People are not simple. They cannot be summarized for easy reference.
That's like very different than if like you're playing a game where the content is the content and you can either keep playing or you can turn it off.
God.
I have a survey that I tend to send players before games. I say I have a survey, but I usually end up retooling it for each campaign to like kind of touch on subjects that are around it.
My people have been at war since the moment we set foot in the
often
Northern
find the
Islands.
answers to it kind of interesting. Because like it's kind of like, okay, so if this scenario were to happen in the game, you would like that, you would not like that, you would want it to be handled this way or this way.
No. I was born in Sahara.
And like
of the land we came from, I know nothing. Not
you can never really predict who wants something that is less confrontational and who wants something that is more confrontational.
Yeah, I can see that.
What a strange
I ran a game a little while ago with a group of largely like female presenting players. And I had like a thing in there like, would you prefer like just zero sexism or some sexism or like full-blown sexism, I guess. Although I probably would not have like gone super hard with that. But like,
I can't even imagine you doing that.
The survey, I have a game I'm too scared to play, but we'll come back to that later. The survey results, like the only thing that people said like, no, I don't want this was no sexism.
Yeah.
And that's definitely not the case for every group I would have run.
Yeah. That's how I would have asked, honestly, Redsguard. I just don't... I don't know, I think as, like, female presenting, you spend your whole life dealing with that shit, and so it's just nice to, like, know you're gonna step into a fantasy world where you're not gonna worry about it.
Well, no, like that's what I'm saying, is that, like, people said that that's specifically what they didn't want.
Yeah.
And that, like, that surprised me for that reason.
So they did not want no sexism? They
did not want no sexism.
Whoa! Did they want to, like,
these players
overcome it?
So that's...
Oh, okay.
Not necessarily, actually. Because I also had a section which was unrelated, which is like, would you prefer to overcome things or not overcome things? And it was kind of like, I would prefer not to overcome things, or I would prefer to, like, face things that I cannot overcome.
But it was not perfect. Some of my chantry fellows were
for me, it would be like, yes,
that is the nature
please be sexist if I'm allowed to, like, put you into a toilet. Into a toilet. A giant toilet.
I think that is one of my comfort zones.
That the maker reveals himself
I feel like you would do that really well. Like, I feel like if you were playing a character that was very sexist, I would feel very good about putting you in a toilet.
One thing, okay, so you're saying you can't imagine, like, one thing I do very occasionally is, like, I mean, I think that this is probably a good practice, is like, sometimes I will say that an NPC says something that is offensive, but I won't actually, like, figure out what they would say. So it's just like for example, like I mentioned the game where there's like kind of a bunch of just toxic bro dudes like hanging out.
What can I say to them?
And like sometimes I'll say like they start having a conversation about like one of their romantic liaisons, but like I'm not actually going to like come up with like some misogynistic thing that one of them says. Like it just kind of it sets.
You don't go into specifics.
There's no real need to do it.
Specifics. Okay, that's interesting, because I feel like if you don't go into specifics, it's hard to get upset. But I feel like if you were telling me the specifics of how these guys were talking, the rest of the game would be me trying to figure out how to murder these people, and I didn't even care if I got away with it or not. It would just be full-on murder of these humans. And
Well,
then,
that
on
depends,
top of
does
that,
it not?
Redscarn,
What does
I would
she
start
seem
questioning you
to
as a
be?
person, because I would wonder where that came from. You know what I mean?
You mean, is she truly the Flemeth of legend and story? Tell me, how much do
So
you
I'm
know
curious
of the
about
tale?
what you two think
the one
about.
that the chastened still tell of my mother, to frighten
So,
them into obedience.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey is set in classical Greece, right? And it draws a lot basically from the historical accounts of the time, and to an extent draws a lot from what we know about Greek culture at the time. But there is one element that's like totally absent, which is that the Greeks were like super misogynistic. Like in Athens, it was like, you stay in the house, you know. And
except for not only in the ancient world, but just kind of across world history.
But even
Especially
for
in the ancient world.
average ancient world, like you know,
Especially.
Athens particularly was extremely sexist. Like as these things go,
Yeah,
I
just
mean,
how they lived
like,
their day to day was sexist.
Like Egypt was a lot more egalitarian than you know the Greeks were, and that's just kind of like, you can play as Cassandra in that game. In fact, I believe she's supposed to be the canon choice of the character, and like no one cares, which always felt like a little strange to me in a game that's like ostensibly so like drawing so much from history. It gets other stuff wrong that I could go into, but
I'm glad
like,
you asked, Josh, because I've been thinking about this a lot, actually.
Yeah.
So, you know how, like, Hamilton, for example, the musical, they cast a lot of people of color in roles that are like George Washington, or like people who are not historically people of color, or like the new show Bridgerton, which has lords who are black,
No doubt
or they
such a
have
tale has
different
mutated
races
much
and stuff
over
like
time
that.
and telling.
I think,
can relay
I
what
really
Flemeth once
believe that
told
this
me
is a
herself,
positive trend,
and you can
because
decide whether or
for
not 'tis the
me,
truth,
like
if you
I
desire.
loved learning about Greek culture when I was a kid, and learning about the different gods and stuff like that. But then once you get hit with that hard reality of like, no, this isn't a place for you, and it never will be.
Right.
Then it's like, I can never occupy this space the way that a white man can. And so I think that it's actually really wonderful that they rewrite history and allow women to occupy that space and have power, even if it's a little bit limited. I know that Cassandra, they do talk about how she's a woman, or they kind of treat her a little bit differently, I think, in that game from what I've played. But like, you still get to play in that space, and you still get to be part of that history. And I think that is important, even though it's not historically correct.
Yeah. I would say, though, the irony of it is, like, many of the women in that game who are, like, important are actually historical figures. As one of those, like, paradoxes, like, well, you know, the Greeks were incredibly sexist, but there were still, like, powerful women running around doing stuff.
It's still limited.
Yeah.
The thing is that if you look back on female history, women have been powerful in different roles, but it was either through luck or it was extremely limited, and they weren't given the same powers and the same sort of like flexibility that men were given. And so even if you were having this power fantasy of like, I'm Queen Victoria, like, you're still fucking Queen Victoria in the 1800s, like, you don't get all of the wonderful things that comes with being a man in the 1800s. So I think, like, that's the important thing to take in
exchange for his lovely wife.
I mean, I think it does depend on context, though.
Agreed.
I'm mostly just like parroting other people's opinions here worse than they would say it, so maybe I'll just like find somebody to link to. But I do know, like okay, let's take Wild West, for example. If you make a game that's like a power fantasy set in the Wild West where there is not, for example, racism, then you're kind of ignoring
I agree.
Was
like,
led
yeah,
off to
like that.
I totally agree.
That's
for dead.
more offensive than
Flemeth
having the
spoke to
racism,
spirits and
because
warned the
that era
demon
was defined
and
by taking
swore
things from people.
Okay, so so if you took Jane Austen and you were like, hey, some of these people can be women, some of these people can be people of color, I think that works. I think that's a great power fantasy. That's awesome. But when it comes to the Wild West, we had really awesome people who were Mexican, awesome women, awesome black people who escaped slavery. Like, there were really just beautiful stories that cropped up in the Wild West that unfortunately did have something to do with racism, but also created these wonderful heroes that are larger than life. So I think, like, actually the Wild West is this play, it's almost like a place that you can play in this world and create new power fantasies based off of, like, different preconceived notions of what people are. The Wild West is like something totally different, in my opinion, because it's not just white people, it's not just upper class people, it's fucking everybody is there.
There's a lot of untold material there.
Yeah, no, I have a great fondness for the Wild West, because I feel like there's so many untold stories, and there was so much grit and hard work, and people who were downtrodden, who made a fortune or, like, made a living just being in the Wild West and, like, I don't know, going against all of the things that society threw at them. So
the demon within her has transformed her into something else. An abomination, perhaps some would say.
Sorry.
I know not.
I'm really passionate about this.
No, it's great.
That's pretty much what we just do on this show.
Yeah.
We're passionate about.
I just love thinking about this kind of thing. And it's something that I've been thinking about for a long time. Like, how am I, as a woman, allowed to, like, enjoy the Andraste myth? You know? Like, am I allowed to?
You ask if I have
why
sisters.
the fuck not? Like, why can't we have stuff like that?
The stories tell of many witches of the wilds, after all, not just the one. And these tales
circle back to
long
go ahead.
Before I did.
Oh no, you go ahead.
Flemeth refuses
I don't know.
to
This is
speak
something I
of
can
their
circle back to
daughters
it literally
if they
anytime. So if there's something that is pressing,
I was just gonna say, like, we're
press
getting
it.
the
I doubt that
incorrect
too.
version of the Flemeth myth, where she's an abomination.
Wait,
what is the deal with Flemeth again?
She's probably an old god.
Okay,
Cool.
I actually know what the thing is, so let me take a hold of this.
Yeah, I never
Okay.
actually finished Inquisition, so.
There are more
There's an okay, so spoilers, everyone. If you don't want to know spoilers that will be spoiled in Dragon Age 4, please just close your ears for a second.
I suspect.
She's Mrs. Columbo.
Who's Miss Columbo?
Flemeth.
Oh my god.
Because
she
Kate
is Miss
Mulgrew,
Columbo.
Yeah.
She is Miss Columbo. Okay, anyway. Let's not talk about that. Even though I love Columbo so very much and I watch it every night. Okay. So once upon a time, there's all these old fucking elves and they had, like, lots of magic and they live forever. Who gives a shit? Solus was like, these guys suck and they're enslaving our people. I'm going to separate their connection to magic, create the Fade. There's this world with no magic. There is the Fade, and you have to tap into the Fade to get your fucking magic. Suck on that. Okay, I'm really tired. I'm gonna take a nap. Flemeth was one of those old elves who fucking mysteriously was killed, murdered, whatever, and, like, vanished into the fucking ether. She met this old lady who was like, I'm sad because my husband's cheating on me. That fucking sucks. And she's like, hey, guess what? I'm this old fucking elf. I can live forever. I have a shit ton of magic. Let me take you over. And furthermore, if you have a daughter, let me take her over too. And so that is what has been happening for, like, hundreds of years.
Right.
The end.
I have a question.
Yes.
Where do you watch Columbo?
Okay, Peacock. It's free if you don't mind a couple little fucking commercials. It's
I do
awesome.
not.
Oh my god, please watch Columbo and tell me what you think.
I've watched a lot of Columbo. I pretty much whenever I have a fever, I watch Columbo because it's like. It's not like it's great and it's not, like, stressful to watch.
I've
actually never seen Columbo. I should really watch.
Josh,
like, all
please
of it.
watch a Columbo. They're amazing.
It literally doesn't matter what episode you watch.
Can I interject here for a second? We're going to Red Cliff. We should have Alistair with us for that. Who else?
Yes. Alistair, Morrigan,
Indeed.
Liliana, our sweet girl.
All right.
Sorry, doggo. You gotta sit this one out. It'll be okay.
So, thing I was gonna chat about, also just, I guess, game recommendation. So I do own a game in my collection that I am afraid to actually play. But it's really, really cool. It's called Bluebeard's Bride.
Oh, one of my favorite fairy tales.
Look,
Go on.
Can we talk for a moment?
It's a very interesting
I need to tell you
game.
something.
And I think it kind of
probably
is
have
one of
told
my
you
go-to
earlier.
examples for representing, like, I was gonna like
Well,
look up some of
let's
the
see.
I was gonna look up some of the names of the
We're
artists and
almost at
stuff who
Red
worked
Cliff.
on it, so but I accidentally typed in
Did I say
Bluebird's
how I
Bride,
know
and that is a
about
very different game, if anything.
Yeah, then that's something else.
It's like one of my go-to examples
bastard.
of
My mother was
like
a serving
an
girl at
example
Red
of
Cliff
all the
Castle,
different
and
ways
she
that
died when I was
role-playing
born.
games can be
I'll
used,
leave
and
until
even
the
be
end
used to
and
deal
raised me
with
before I was
like
sent to
things that
China.
are
The
like
reason he
personal
did
and
that
traumatic.
Was because
Because it's like
my father
it is a game that is designed entirely by women.
Yes.
But it is very much not like a power fantasy about sex.
So, there are many different versions of the Bluebeard myth.
Uh-huh.
Which one do you know? Which one is this one
would I
about?
say that?
Oh, I know. Well, that's actually that's the
By
question.
the way, King Merrick has
That is
sex with a
exactly
servant
the heart
who
of the
produced a
question. Like
bastard
what
son.
what
That,
version
to
of the
me,
blue? Because
I
you
would
are the
have
bride
told you,
in the
but
game. Everyone
I never really meant
who's playing it and not like the GM
I was
represents an aspect
inconvenient,
of the bride's
possible threat to
personality.
Caelin's rule,
Oh,
and so they
fuck
kept me a
yes.
secret.
Oh my god.
And the question
Never
is
talked about it
like,
to anyone.
how do you
Everyone
respond
who
to these
knew
things? But
either
like,
resented me for it
and
or
like,
coddled
okay, so if you
Even
absolutely want to
Duncan
enjoy
kept
this,
me out of the
I say
fighting
enjoy. If you absolutely want to play this game without any preconceived notions, I'm going to talk a little bit about like the inside baseball of how it works.
I'm sorry.
But I think you could still absolutely enjoy the game even knowing this. But like,
No,
basically,
this is my favorite fairy tale, so I absolutely need to know. Please just tell me
I don't know if
everything.
that means anything, though. I certainly
okay,
never
this game
considered the
doesn't
idea
have a
that it
happy
might ever
ending.
be important.
Okay, so it's
There is
that
eventually
version.
married a young
There is
woman
no
from
way to
Lair,
have a happy
despite
ending
all
in
the
this
problems
game.
it caused with the king so soon
It's just a
after.
matter of what kind of
He loved her a
unhappy
great
ending you
deal.
get.
Anyway,
Oh, go
the
on.
new Arlessa resented the
Well,
rumors
okay,
which
so like
pegged me as
the
Arl's
structure
bastard.
of the game
They
kind of
weren't
like
true,
takes you
of
where
course
you're
they
like exploring the house and finding keys and like experiencing
So if I was
things
packed
within
to
the
the walls
manor.
of monastery
And you're kind of being asked questions like, how do you respond to this? Like, what is your like? How do you do you like try to like brush this under the rug? Do you like do you really face up to it? And like depending on how much you do that, you can be hurt or you can like protect yourself by not really engaging with it.
Oh wow.
But like that really only
She may have,
determines
but I
like
think it's
what
more
your
likely that
ultimate
she feared
fate
the rumors
is, and
might be
not really
true.
in a positive way.
Can't
Oh
blame
my
her for
god.
that.
Retzker and I
remember
have to play this game.
Amulet with Andraste's
How can I
holy
play this
symbol on
game?
it.
I
The
guess
only
you.
thing I had of my
I guess somebody runs it. Again, I'm scared to run it.
Furious at being sent
Are you
away,
scared
I
to
tore
run
it
it?
off and
It's
threw it at
really
the wall.
fucked up.
I know it is. I know from the story that it is a fucked up story. Does it?
The owl
Okay.
came by
Okay,
the
so the thing you need to know about is it's a horror role
Can you
playing
keep
game,
it
and it's
PG?
designed. Huh?
It's
I
does it
hated
stay
it,
like
man.
pretty
Blamed him
PG
for
besides
everything.
violence? Is my
And
question.
eventually,
I
he
guess
just
you could,
stopped
but it's
coming.
not really built to be like that. I don't like. Okay, so I don't know is the answer because I haven't run it ever. I own it. I haven't actually ever run it. But like the design of it is genius, and I've like kind of. When I've been designing like private games or like horror games, I like go back to it and I study it because it's like it's very well designed and like also fucking with people.
And that's fine.
And
by
like
me.
there's
Now, if
there's a
an heir to
mechanic in
be
the game which is
found,
introduced
I'll
which is
even
like
himself.
shuddering, which is
Not
that
of royal
like
blood,
if
but
you
he is
ever
Caelin's
like
uncle, and more
if you have to
importantly,
roll
very
which like
popular
changes
with the
around
people.
and you ever like
Oh.
physically shudder at
He's
something,
really as sick as we've heard.
like the GM stops and asks you what you shuddered at and like what you're afraid of, and then tells
So
you
there
why
you
it's
have it.
worse.
Now can we move on?
Tells you
And
why
I'll
it's
just
worse than you
pretend
thought it
still think
was.
I'm some
What?
nobody who was too
Okay,
lucky to
no.
die with the
Okay,
rest
so
of the
here's my
Queen's
question, and I'm gonna say this as delicately as I can.
Yeah.
Does it have unnecessary like forcing on women stuff? Like that's
sexual violence?
yeah, that's my like I can't do that. I can go full violence and scary shit. I cannot do any of that shit.
All right, I'm gonna tell you like I'm gonna answer that question in layers.
Some
The
nobles
first
are
is
too
not
lucky to
necessarily
die with the rest of the
so
Grey
that's,
Wardens.
that's your
Welcome
story
to the
way.
club.
For one thing, the game is packaged with a consent system that is pretty widely used, which is the X card, And it also, like, there are other consent systems you can use, which would ensue that either that A, like, if you did have any subject that, like, you definitely didn't want to touch on, you could provide that to the group in a way where, like, the game wouldn't touch on it.
Okay.
B is that, like, or if it did come up, like, during the game, you would be able to, like, stop, rewind it, that didn't happen, something else happened.
Oh, okay.
So, like, it's like most games that deal with those really serious topics that are, like, not designed by total jackasses, it's kind of like okay, here's what you do to, like, handle something happening, which is cool.
Okay.
The second layer I want to address is that it's not like D&D where there's, like, a sexual violence monster that is, like, statted out that, like, has to appear in the game.
Does that exist? Do people do?
No, it doesn't. I mean, I guess you could argue, like, succubuses are that, in a way, because they have, like, they're traditionally paired with charm magic and stuff.
But isn't it, like, played as a joke, like, ooh, hi, ladies?
By people I don't really enjoy playing Dungeons & Dragons with again, yes.
Yeah.
But, God, alright, anyway, point is, I'm gonna stay on topic, because we've already had so many divergences here. No, it's my bad. What I mean is that, like, it is not like Dungeons & Dragons in the sense that there are things which are features of it that you drop in that are pre-made. Okay. You sort of create it as you're playing it, so there's that. But the final layer is that, like, the game does not presuppose that you will avoid these topics, and in fact includes several examples where there are scenes that are confrontationally about that.
Fuck.
And that's, like, you know, I don't actually know how I would handle that as a GM.
I don't see, like, there are things that I literally would just stop the game if it happened.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if I could handle a game that's like, you're gonna confront your fears. Like, I would list some other fears that I have that are less bad.
Please?
Like, my head getting cut off. Let's start with that. Like, that's less scary to me than, like, I don't know, I honestly couldn't even handle animal cruelty. Like, if there was, like, you're in a room and a dog gets hurt, I'd be like, oh, I gotta go, you guys. Thanks for the snacks. I'll see you later. Like, there's no fucking way, you know?
So, I guess the answer is that, like, you could definitely play a version. Have you come to help us? Like, you would have a group that would play it. I would also say that probably some people who do play it with kind of a different motivation. Where it's kind of more about, like,
he could be dead for all we know.
The catharsis of making these things hyper-real in an environment that you ultimately have full control over.
You're safe, so you can play through certain fears that you have.
Everyone's been fighting. All things being well, and
dying. I totally get that, and I think that's really powerful, actually. But I feel like, for me personally, no thank you.
It's powerful, but it's also optional.
No thank you.
No king. That's kind of how I feel about it. It's powerful, but it's optional. And boy, does, like, the group you're playing with make all the difference. Like, because I like that shit. Like, I like dealing with stuff that makes me squirm. And that I hate. But, like, when it comes up unexpectedly, or when it's, like, by a group that's, like, taking it as a joke, it's really bad.
Yeah.
I had a game once where like, it was like kind of, okay, so I was annoyed because also this was a game that was presented to me as it's a really serious game, and then a couple people came in with, like, practical joke characters, and I had, like, a really edgy character. This is, like, maybe the second. I think that's only happened to me, like, twice, and this is the other time that happened to me. And it was, God, it was such a fucking disaster, because we show up for, like, the session 0, which is, like, where you plan your characters and stuff, but you don't actually play yet. And it's like, I have, like, oh, here's my character, it's like, here's what he's dealing with, he was, like, a teenage jock, but, like, he drove drunk, and he killed a child, and his entire life derailed from there. Yeah, and but then it's like
a Bruce Springsteen song.
My name is
yeah, exactly. It's like this is my character for this, like, kind of messed up, like, horror game. And then the guy's like, my character. She's like, my character is this character from the movie Cabin in the Woods.
Oh,
and I'm
no.
like, oh, it's like that character. It's like, no, it's exactly this character. Same name, same props, same costume.
Oh no.
I'm like, well, I haven't seen that movie yet. Hope you don't spoil it. And she's like, oh no, I'm definitely gonna spoil it.
Oh
Loghain would have us believe
no!
all Grey Wardens died along with my nephew.
And then, like,
amongst
the
other
other
things.
person is just like, oh, here's my shtick, and it's, like, also a
I
joke.
refer to Kaelin, of
And
course.
then it's like, okay, so let's
Our
do
sister
everybody's
was Queen
first
Rowan,
scenes.
King Merrick's wife,
And it's like,
Kaelin's
okay, so we're gonna
mother.
have the
May
scene
her
where your
rest her
bad
soul.
thing happened to
So you are
you.
Grey Warden as well.
So,
Pleasure to
but
meet
it's
you.
like
I
funny.
wish it
It's
were
like a
under
funny
better
haha
circumstances.
thing. So here's
You're
your
here to
funny
see your
haha
brother.
thing, and we need to cast somebody as like the
Unfortunately,
other
that might
character
be
in
a
the scene.
problem. Eamon
So,
is great,
Adam, how about it's you?
No one has heard
So I'm
from
like,
the castle in
okay.
days.
And
No
here's the
guards
thing:
patrol
we're
the
going into
walls,
this. We
and
don't
no
have any
one has
consent systems
responded
yet
to
because
my
it's like
shouts.
2010.
The attack
They probably
started a few
existed. We
nights
didn't
ago.
know about them.
Oh my god.
And I'm sitting here like,
surged from the
this scene that
castle.
we're about to roleplay
We drove
actually
them back,
happened
but
to my
many
family, and it
perished
was the
during
worst
the
day of my
assault.
life.
No.
And it was not funny at all.
No.
And I'm basically just having to be part of like, I'm basically just like
Some
sad,
walking dead,
sad clowning my way through
decomposing
this
corpses returning to
terrible
life with the
scene.
hunger for human flesh.
Well,
They
everyone
hit
else is
again
like
the next night.
yucking it up
Each
and
night they
like,
come with
like
great
tromboning
energy.
it.
With
That
Kaelin
breaks my
dead,
heart.
Loghain
And
starting
that
a
was, we
war
never
over the
actually,
throne.
it didn't even
No
pay
one
off
responds
because we
to my
never
urgent
played it that
calls
game
for
again. It
help.
fell apart.
I'm
Like,
feeling
schedules
tonight
fell
is
apart.
worst yet.
It was like such a pantsing.
If it makes you feel better, Red Scarn,
isn't
if I
just
was there,
up
I
to
would have
me.
fucking
Though
rampaged.
the Grey
Like, I don't
Wardens
know
don't stand
how
much
else to
chance
deal with
against
that kind of
Loghain
shit,
without
as you
our
know.
Eamon.
Like, I would have just rampaged for you. I would have figured out something to do to end that shit quickly.
Just to be 100% fair to the people involved, I want to say that there's absolutely no way he could have known that I would not have found this scene funny. It wasn't like genocide. It was like
Thank you. Thank you. This means
it
more
doesn't
to me
matter.
than
I
you
still
can
would have
guess.
rampaged.
Thomas,
Just
please
to,
tell
and
Murdoch
then you
what
can go, wow,
transpired.
Mumbles is
Then
really
return to your
embarrassing.
post.
I have to go.
I'm so sorry for Mumbles.
Now then,
I'm
there's
so
much
sorry.
to do before night.
I'm always
I put
apologizing.
two men in charge of the defense outside. Murdoch, the village mayor, is outside the country. Sir Perth, one of Eamon's knights, is just up the cliff at the windmill, watching the castle. You may discuss with
Because
them
that's
the
how I
preparations
deal
for the
with
coming battle.
problems. Oh god.
This is hardly the time to be discussing
So,
personal
does anybody else
details,
feel
don't you
like
think?
this character
We'll have to fight for our lives
would
very
have been
shortly.
Sean Bean if they could have afforded him?
Oh, he
Like,
does look
he
the
very
part.
much looks like Sean Bean.
It's exactly like my character
Where are my
model looked.
manners?
Except
What would
without
you like to know?
fucked up, except without the fucked up jawbones.
I saw someone earlier that looked like my female mage human Dragon Age 1 person. Like, exactly. That's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. It's like
Connor
both showed
lives,
up to
he'll
the
be
party in the
Jarl,
same
and I'll need to
face.
help him
No,
with it.
that's really what
If
it
he's-
feels like when you play a
wanna
game
think
and
about
it's the same fucking character model.
After the first
I
attempt,
love in
I wanted
like
to
in
go for
Baldur's
help, but I
Gate.
couldn't just
Boy,
leave
this is
these
like the
people.
third or fourth
The
Baldur's Gate
Baron
reference,
gear
but
up
I'm
to
just plowing
battle
through it.
Loghain, while
Like,
Darkspawn
they
loomed
give you
herself.
portraits to choose
Loghain
from, and what
won't
they don't
send
tell you is
anyone,
that like
so Redcliffe
50%
is on
of these
its own.
portraits belong to like canon NPC party members. And if you pick it,
Skilled enough to know
it
there
just
are men
like
far better
gives
than
that
yourself.
NPC party member a different backup portrait.
Am I
Yeah.
married?
Which looks
No.
nothing like
No,
how
I've
they
never
are,
had
would
that.
Yeah.
look.
If I did,
And it's
I'd
it's
be
so
lucky to
funny
find a
because
woman as lovely
it
as
always
yourself.
looks like the best value versions of that NPC. Because it's like those portraits are not like, oh, this was the best one for this NPC. It's like, let's make a portrait
Good, then
representing
my
this
secrets are
specific
still
NPC.
safe. I
It's
was
like if you
worried
could
for a
play
moment
like it's like if you could play
I have those few who return from
Skyrim
their quest.
and
You know of this, yes?
no, it's not like that.
You
Fuck.
got
Yes,
it.
I
Come on, you got
question
it.
Isolde's decision to send
All right,
so
it's like
many
if you could play
knights in search of
Skyrim
this
and like
relic.
you could be the
But
Jarl
I am a
of
practical man,
Whiterun,
whereas she
complete
is a
with like the
woman of great
crown
faith.
and
Sir
like the
Perth was
cape.
one of the knights sent on this quest.
And
Perhaps
like
you
there's a
should speak to
throne in
him
the
if you wish to
background of your
learn more.
portrait. And then you show up to the Jarl and he's just some guy because you took the Jarl mesh.
You know what it is? It's in Rapunzel, the Disney movie, where every time they do the wand poster for
Sir
the
Perth
guy,
insists.
his nose is too
He
big.
wants me to
And
be
he's
with
like,
the
my
villagers,
nose is
so
too
everyone
big.
he
That's
needs
not
to
what my
protect
nose
is in
looks
one
like.
place.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
I don't mind, to be honest.
Exactly.
The point of all
They
this
just
is to
complain about
protect
it.
the villagers.
Our
and I can
armor
do
is
that
kind of
best here.
awful. Like, look at this
This is the
boob
last
cup we've
line of
got going
defense
on.
should things go amiss.
You're on fire?
I'm
So
not here
I
for
don't
glory.
know.
Well,
I would
I
prefer
mean,
being outside, but
we
Perth
are
has a point.
mage.
We could bring some men in to stand beside me, but I'd rather keep the monsters away from the
So-
villagers if possible.
If you have access to magic, you're just on
Hopefully
fire
we
at
can
all
find the
times.
shield
No,
that
I'm
stopped it
channeling the
before it causes
magic
any
to
more
make our
damage.
weapons
With luck,
on
we'll also
fire.
find Eamon and be
Oh.
able to help him.
Oh.
It's a much more sensible explanation than whatever you just said.
But if you're talking to someone who is actively, like, not even like, not necessarily strenuously, but just like kind of consciously,
rotting flesh
their weapons are currently on fire.
Gravest injuries.
how do you handle that? How do you like deal with like the fact that they are currently at like a 7?
Run away.
In terms of like preparing to
Run
kill
from
you.
that person. Run far away. Just keep running.
Very well.
Wasn't she
It's just
electrified earlier? Oh yeah, our sword has a lightning rune in it, so when fire weapons is turned off, it's lightning instead.
It's like if this was a Wild West RPG and you're just walking around spinning your pistol on your finger.
Oh God.
Let us pray.
That's dangerous too.
Oh yeah, it's very, very unsafe.
You're just asking for it at that point to get shot in your own groin.
We are grateful.
Like super early guns were like I say super early, like the Colt Single Action Army was outrageously unsafe, and then people like make it more unsafe.
But I cannot speak.
Well, they would jam it, they wouldn't clean it, so like it was pretty much a crapshoot whether or not it was gonna blow up on you or not.
Yeah, and then just like, and then they'd like get a file and they'd file off like the safety hitch on the trigger, so that like you could just shoot it just by tapping the hammer.
That's my new, post-COVID, my whole deal is going to be someone who travels to ghost towns. That's going to be my deal.
There are a few good ones out here.
I've been to one ghost town.
I've been to one as well. Which one did you go to?
Calico.
Oh yeah, Calico's a good one.
It is the
I had a great time there. I got an Old West tiny photo tape.
And children
Oh
will stay
hell
here during
yeah,
the
a
battle,
boudoir.
while the militia and knights protect. They set up a barricade outside the country to keep monsters
No, my
from
wife
getting
and I
in.
got like a
If
bad
anything
outlaw
gets
action shot.
Antigon is our only defense. Please, have mercy. Help these people.
Sorry.
Do whatever you can.
That's what they used feathers for back then.
That is,
I did go to Tombstone,
Of course, I'd be happy to. Blessed
Oh, that's pretty good.
I'm processing that. I did go to Tombstone, Arizona. That place is an actual ghost
Blessed
town.
art thou
Wait,
who
there's a guy
seekest
who died in
forgiveness.
Colorado that I need to go visit.
Blessed
Let me.
art thou
Is it
who
Billy the
seeks
Kid?
his return. Blessed is the prophetess, his daughter, sacrificed to the holy flame. May the chant
Yes.
which the makers
Fort
did,
Sumner.
and
No, that's
tell
New
him
Mexico.
of our
Let me try.
contrition.
I'm gonna look into this.
Wait, Fort Sumner. Oh no, Fort Sumter is what I'm thinking about. I was like isn't that in like North Carolina or
No,
something?
no, Sumner is
Yeah.
in New Mexico.
Fort Sumner.
Who's that other old Western guy? Name some old Western guys off the top of your head.
You said Billy the Kid. Butch Cassidy.
Mm-hmm.
In the Kokari
Wild Bill Hickok.
My husband and
No.
son went there to bring the chant of
Wait.
life to the chastened.
Butch Cassidy was
haven't
real?
heard from them
Buffalo
since.
Bill.
Yeah. Butch Cassidy's a real guy. Like that whole thing is wild.
Oh
Buffalo
yeah, that's
Bill,
right. It
Wyatt
did
Earp.
happen.
Buffalo Bill's the one I'm thinking of. I can go
I
talk
am.
to Buffalo Bill. He's
heard of me?
He's buried in Colorado.
I thought you were gonna tell me there's an animatronic of Buffalo Bill.
I
that will
mean,
talk to you.
I would have put it past fucking
There
just
probably-
tourist towns.
There probably is an animatronic of Buffalo Bill somewhere. I have
I
a
feel-
Buffalo Bill miniature on my table
Thank
right
you
now.
so
I mean,
I'm gonna
there's
see what he looks
the. No, that's a Bonnie and Clyde car, isn't it, in Prim?
Dude, that was the 1920s or
I know,
30s.
I was thinking, I'm way off into. I mean, it's in the
Oh.
desert.
Yeah.
He was kind of handsome. I'm gonna say
Father
this.
is outside
Yeah.
defending the village.
He wasn't
Good day.
bad looking.
We must stay here.
He wasn't bad looking.
Did you ever look at? Did you ever see that photo of Billy the Kid?
I'll
Oh
try to be
no,
more
let me look it
quiet.
up.
Oh God, you're not ready for it. You're not ready for what Billy the Kid looked like.
Okay, here we
Those
go.
things
Oh
dragged my mother
no,
away.
baby.
I don't know what else.
Oh
I
no,
hear this
he's so
screaming
ugly.
all the
Oh
time.
no.
Like
Everywhere.
shit.
How
Oh
terrible.
no,
He
to
looks
the
like
poor
shit.
Oh
I wish
no,
there was
to the
something
point where
we
like
could do
I
to
don't feel
help.
comfortable making
And
fun
I
of
went by the
him.
village.
Oh
He ran
no.
off. I don't know where he is. I'm
Oh wow,
so
he
scared
was
they
very
got him
ugly.
too.
I'm gonna post a link in chat here to a photo of Billy the
He said
Kid.
something
Is
about
it just because he
saving Mother.
like got in fights?
He's just a little
Is that what
boy.
happens when you
He
get in
doesn't
I think he
understand.
was just
She's gone.
ugly.
Oh
I think he
no.
Foolishly
was
run
shit.
off.
I don't think he got
Well,
nearly as
then,
many
then
fights as
you
he
should
said he
get
did,
used
to
to
be
that.
honest. I think he just like was kind of like a
Nice.
dumb,
Maybe
ugly
he wants to keep
teenager
you
who
in
talked
bed while you're
a
at it.
mad
Shall we
shit.
comfort her with lies?
And then
Was
like
Doc Holliday a real person?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Oh, he
I
was
hope he didn't
hot.
try to go to
I
the
would
castle.
get with Doc
Oh,
Holliday.
that
He
would
was good
be
looking.
awful.
Val Kilmer in Tombstone is like one of my favorite Western performances.
Oh
I
my
went to a house.
goodness,
It's by the
good
square.
looking.
He wasn't there.
My
I searched
goodness.
the rest of the village too. I
Erp?
called and I
Erp
called,
isn't
but he
bad?
never answered.
No,
I wonder if he
I mean,
ran
there's
off into the
some,
woods.
there's some
I'm so
handsome
worried.
dudes.
Without me, he has nobody.
I'm gonna look up
You
Ned
will.
Kelly and
Thank
see if
you
he was
so
hot.
much.
I think he was not hot. Although he has a huge beard, so it's actually.
Oh, actually, it's alright. It's alright.
Yeah,
It's alright.
no, it's kind of like. Yeah.
He's got like he was in an indie band in the early 2000s, kind of hot.
Yeah, judging the attractiveness of historical murder section of the stream, in case you've just been tuning in.
What should we do until then?
If you have any other Wild West people that you love and you want us to do hot or not, let us.
Hot or not, historical murderers.
Hot or not, historical murderers and bank robbers. They're not exclusive. If you were a bank robber in the Wild West, you also killed people.
Yeah. Unless you're Black Bart.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think he killed anybody.
I'm gonna look him up.
Actually, you know who probably didn't really kill anybody until it was an absolute clear-cut case of self-defense.
He had to, yeah.
No, do you know who did?
No.
I think Black Bart literally didn't kill anybody.
Well, we do want
Blackbeard.
to help however we can.
Blackbeard, though, had a ship. I feel like he must have sunk other ships and therefore murdered people.
I actually think he literally didn't.
What?
So, okay, the thing about being a pirate is that, you just want to mug
I've been trying
people.
to hold us together, but it isn't.
Like, you don't
easy.
actually want to,
Anyhow,
sink ships
here,
or kill
and they
people
tell me you're
because
in
then they don't
charge.
hand you their shit. And if they fight back, chances are they're going to win and kill all of you, and then you don't get to spend any of
These men
it.
aren't soldiers.
So, you
They're
kind of
villagers
avoid that situation
defending their
happening in the
homes.
first place.
And they're
Oh.
It would
As
help
far
if
as
we
I
had
know,
decent equipment.
there's no
There weren't
confirmed
enough
cases of
swords
anybody
in
who was even
shop.
killed by his
The
crew
men's armor is nearly
until the
falling
Battle
off.
of Ocracoke,
I
where
don't
he was
think we're in any
ambushed
shape to fight.
by, I say ambushed
do
by
our
law,
best, of course,
effectively
but,
law enforcement and bounty hunters,
have my doubts.
and then,
I just
it was
hope
a
I'm
slaughter
alive
on both
tomorrow morning.
sides.
Was he the one where the queen
We
was
need
like,
what
"Hey, you're
little
such a
armor
good
and
pirate.
weapons
I
we
want you
got
to go do
repaired,
pirate
and
stuff."
quickly,
That's
or
probably
half of us
Francis
will be
Drake
fighting
you were
without
thinking
either.
of.
Owen's the only
Yeah.
blacksmith who can
That's
do it.
that's
but
like
the
a 16th
stubborn
century
fool
dude.
refuses
He was a
to
huge
even
asshole.
talk.
There
Better
are
be
accounts of
ready
him
for
just
tonight. We'll
murdering
need
his
that
fellow crew
crotchety
members
bastard's help.
in really weird ways.
I'm gonna
His
say
daughter,
something
Valena,
controversial.
is one
I
of
think
Dolores'
that
maids.
Blackbeard
So he
was
hasn't heard
hot.
from her since this whole business started.
Yeah, I mean,
He
I'm
demanded
looking
we
at
attack
depictions
the
of
castle,
him. First
break
of all,
down the
his
gate
beard
and
was
force
always
our
on
way
fire
in.
somehow. We
I
don't know
said
how
it was
that happened.
I was
impossible,
so
but he wouldn't
fucking sad when I found out that
He's
wasn't a
locked
real
himself in
thing.
the smithy
Man,
now.
but I would
Can't force him to
say
do repairs.
I would follow
He said
him.
he'd rather
I would
die
follow
first.
him. I'd be a pirate for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a ghost
We
story
could
about
use some
Blackbeard.
extra bodies.
Tell me.
Having a
They
veteran
say that
Gwyn in
so
the militia
when he
would
was
help
killed,
a
his
lot,
head was cut
but he
off because they're
flat out
bringing that
refuses.
back as the proof of murder.
Yeah.
To get the
He's a
money back,
traitor.
and there's a
He's a
story
wolf.
that
Lives near
persisted,
the
which I
lake.
believe is kind of
Locked
contemporary,
himself up in his
at
home
least.
with some of
I
his
think maybe
workers,
completely
yes.
contemporary, which is that the
Says he
body
doesn't
which they
need
chucked
any of us.
overboard
We
swam
could use
laps
somebody
around
with
their
his
ship
fighting
as they were
experience.
sailing
He won't
away.
come out.
That's a
my
fucking
shit.
boss move.
Shouldn't you be
Love
trying
that.
to reason with Owen?
Love that. Love to hear that.
Oh.
That's good shit.
Ask away.
Yep. Pirates are interesting.
Yeah,
If you
I'd
want
love to
weapons
learn
and
more about
such, you go to
pirates.
the
There's a lot of
blacksmith,
stuff
but
I'd
there
love to
isn't
learn
much
more
left
about, but some history books are kind of boring.
I recommend Republic of Pirates.
Right.
Okay.
Let's hope.
So
we
it's
see
a very
more.
interesting book.
I'm currently reading Devil in the White City, which is quite good.
That's a very compellingly told story.
It's good. And it's about old-timey times, and it's not boring, which is really all you can ask for.
Yeah, I'm kind of like an H.H. Holmes truther, but like, there's really a lot of ambiguity about that stuff. So it's not like you can be too angry about it one way or the other.
No, I think you should make it as interesting as possible.
everything out of my stores.
Whatever version of it is the most. I mean, that is like very much the attitude.
Odysseus did that, right? Homer?
Yeah.
Homer did that?
Exactly.
He was like,
Exactly.
I don't know, there's a Cyclops there. We don't know that for sure.
All right.
Probably
all right.
wasn't a Cyclops.
Let me undo the locks.
Could have been.
All I ask is that you don't make any trouble.
We were talking about something a while ago, and I was. Oh yeah, before the show we were
Make
talking
his
about
breath.
the
What is that
1970s
smell?
role-playing game Boot
It's
Hill.
like someone set a brewery on fire.
And I had for some reason I was going to reintroduce
Do I
that
let you
topic,
in?
but actually I don't remember why
You
now,
wanted
so
to
never mind.
talk?
It's
Now we're
because we were
talking.
talking
Mind
about
telling me
spitting
who you
guns
are?
on our fingers.
That's
and
right.
how easily you could shoot yourself in the
Grey
groin.
Warden, is it?
Abdomen,
It
groin.
takes all kinds.
Two
Funny
rolls
you
and it's
didn't
over.
sound like an elf through
One
the
thing that
door.
I find really amusing about
Can't
Blue
say
Hill
I
is this. So like
expected
it's a kind of
Anyhow,
you might say it's a
my
pre-role
name's
playing game,
Owen,
role playing game.
Though you might already know
Like
that.
the war game came out before
Get to
Dungeons and
join me
Dragons
as I
started
get
calling itself
besotted.
a role
Or
playing
is there
game.
something in particular
So, like-
you wanted?
And it didn't really change much to the point where it started being called a role playing game itself.
I've been drinking
So
since
the
I got
way
this
all of its like
afternoon.
approaches to
That
stats
makes,
are like very first principles.
3 days.
And it's like, you know how most games like you
Maybe
have
more.
a core set of stats and then that like from that you
God,
derive like
Valena.
lots of different numbers.
It's one of the
Yeah.
Alessa's
Like you have a
mages.
strength, so that means you get
Trapped
+2 to
up there in the
attack and +2 to
castle, but the bear
damage
won't
and like
send
+2 to
anyone
lift
for
and
her.
+2 to hustle. Boot Hill,
Lead my
you
life since
randomly
my
generate
wife
like
passed
20
on
different
2 years
stats,
ago.
and then they give you like 3
Well,
numbers
she's
that you
dead.
actually
Or
use.
soon to be. I don't care what happens to me or the village.
And then
or
those stats
anyone.
are completely meaningless otherwise.
Why not? It's not like we're going to live.
It seems kind of
past the
lame,
night
but also
anyhow.
great. Like a
Or are
mix
you
between
going to
this
save
is
us?
very bare bones and bad, but also
Is
let's
that
build
so?
something on it.
Yeah, the stat system is
Maybe it's
asinine.
the drink.
Uh,
talking. You almost sound like you believe
That was my nice way of saying that,
It'd
but
do me
yes.
the world of good to think maybe someone like you could go in and find her. Provided any of us live through
Everybody
the night.
here's sad. This town is a drag.
Well, man, are we in Redcliffe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look for Valena,
What is this
I'll
guy?
reopen
I'm
this
sorry, Josh.
video,
What's
make some
happening right now in
repairs for
Dragon Age?
Melissa.
We have
I
to.
can do
We're
that
preparing for the. Okay, so, you know how there's the blight going on, and the army of zombie orcs is attacking and overrunning
Sure.
everything, right? Well, simultaneous to that, Redcliffe is being besieged by different zombies that come out at night and try to eat everybody.
Doesn't have anything to do with the blight. Doesn't have anything to do with the
No.
blight, Josh.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it
That's
does
fucking
kind of,
stupid.
but it's no.
Okay. Can I just say that's fucking stupid? You already have the
Not good
blight
enough.
for zombies. If you
Murdoch
wanted
said
to
the same
introduce some
damn
other
thing.
threat,
And I
wouldn't
didn't
she make
believe
that threat
him either.
different than
You were
fucking
asking
zombies?
great
Wouldn't she be like, I
deals,
don't know.
So
I want to promise.
it's tied into
Promise me that you'll look for her.
the
that you'll
political
bring her back to me
stuff.
if you can.
And actually, the person who unleashed it is someone we've met before.
I'll accept that. It's something to hope for, at least.
So it is
Let's
kind
begin
of
rescuing
tied into the
kittens
blight,
from
but not
trees.
really.
Right then.
And then
It
of course,
seems I have some work to do.
and then
Relighting
we're gonna get to the
forge,
fucking Mage's
I
Tower. And there's
suppose.
gonna be a
I'll have to
different
find
kind of undead attack going on there.
Josh, I
Murdoch
know you're
just
trying to
better
explain
send
this
his
to
men
me.
here
I don't
as soon as
understand.
possible, if I'm gonna get
I
all
don't
these
understand
repairs
what
and
the
get them
fuck
done
is
by
going
nightfall.
on.
If you need anything done,
They're,
well,
the
let me
zombies are gonna, the undead
I've got a lot to
zombies are
do
gonna
now,
attack,
so you'll have to
and they're gonna,
excuse me.
we're trying to make this guy whose daughter is
Okay.
stuck up in the castle,
Okay.
help out the village.
Okay, but I said, why have more zombies when you already have a plot reason for zombies? And you said, politics is actually
So,
something else. Some kind of blah.
Yeah, so Logain is behind this for what should be obvious reasons, because Arl Eamon is someone who could oppose Logain, so he decided, I think he poisoned Eamon, and then something went crazy here, and now there are zombies
not.
attacking in the castle.
I
It's
hate
inaccessible.
it.
Primitive fear of
That's
the
not
moon,
interesting
such
to
as-
me at all. As a player, if that was what it was told to me, I'd be like, I don't give a fuck. Thank you. Why couldn't they do it like Inquisition, where they have a town where during the Blight, one of the mayors was like, uh-oh, everybody has the Blight, I'm flooding this shit. And so then later, a Fade Rift rips open because it has a bunch of negative energy from all those fuckers he killed. And they're like, uh-oh, let's solve this old problem. That makes more sense to me.
Pleased to meet you.
That is intriguing.
Kindly tell me why you're here. So what?
So I was thinking about
Recruiting
the other,
I'll
like
tell
I was
you
talking
what I
about
told
Assassin's Creed
Murdoch.
Odyssey and
I'm not
historical
risking my
accuracy. You
neck
know
for
the
this
the other the really the worst misstep in their historical accuracy thing in Odyssey is
not putting the penis on the statue.
Yes.
More penises,
no,
please.
Okay, so they do have dicks on statues in that game. You know, the big statues that are everywhere that actually never existed. But there are also these like standing stone busts that they have, and these are historical things that are called terms.
You have my attention.
Yeah,
You're talking about the dick busts.
Yeah, they were. No, it's a dude's head, and then yeah, I think it's supposed to be a likeness of like the person who owns the land. And I'm not totally sure it's even clear what it is, but it's a bust of like a head, and then it's a stone, and then it's about the size of a human, and where the dick would be, there's a dick, and that's it. But in the game, they don't have dicks on them.
It's just like a dick on a refrigerator box.
Yeah, basically. But you would put it outside to mark, like, land for some reason.
I thought this was going to be about boobies, and I'm very sad it's not.
Thanks. But I'll take my chances in here.
Oh, wow.
Everyone else can run around in the open waiting to die.
Do you ever think about how famous pop singer Billie Eilish's mom is Samara?
Wait, really?
Wait, what?
If you want me out there so badly.
Billie Eilish's mother is the voice actress and face model for fucking Samara.
Because of you.
That's why.
Yeah.
Tell Murdoch you want.
Yeah, look that shit
see
up.
you out there in the square
Don't
when those
bother,
creatures
it's
come.
real.
Alright, let's steal this guy's stuff.
I'm just imagining like a button sticker. It's just like you giving like gun fingers, and it says "look that up" at the top, and the bottom says "don't look it up."
If spoiler warning ever takes off as a Patreon, you should have someone make a pin of that and have that be like a tier. So like if you give like, I don't know, $50 a month, you get a tier of mumbles, and she says, "Look that up. Don't look that up." And then you can just wear that around at your gaming conventions that I might be at.
EBS-trion.
Yeah.
Get your tote bags.
Oh, we do need those abilities. So yeah, we'll do that. Alright, so anyway, this is like, we got some options to do some quick side quests in town to, you know, make the defense better, is basically what we're doing.
Like the court defense?
No,
like someone committed a crime and we're getting clues so that we can
yeah,
defend them better?
a bunch of zombies ate a bunch of people and we're gathering clues on how to not have them eat more people.
Cool, love that.
Go away. This isn't your home.
Wow, that
This
dresser
my
is
home.
some real
My
high
home,
definition textures.
How do you know my name?
I'm
Did she tell you
magical.
to take me back to the
I can't believe you didn't pick I'm
I didn't.
magical.
I
Go back
just
there. I
clicked
hate that
without
place.
thinking.
I hate it. Everybody's scared. But they tell me I shouldn't be scared. And they tell me I shouldn't be sad that Mother died. I don't want to be sad. I'm brave. I'm going to be a
I only
hero.
remember this because
I'm
wait,
going
is
to
this
fight them
like
off. I will.
is this like the closet you can stab into like in Knights of the Old Republic?
No, you cannot.
Okay.
You
You're
can't
thinking
murder
of
the
Hamlet.
kid. No.
No.
You're thinking
I
of
just
the
heard
the
something
play Hamlet, where you can
that's
just stab
not
people
very
for no
brave, is
reason.
it? I'll come out.
You're
now.
right, Mumbles. I was thinking of the play Hamlet. My bad.
Where you can
All
stab
right.
people
I came
for
out.
no reason.
You
Look
won't
it
hurt
up.
me.
Watch that play.
Will you?
People stab people
I'll go
for
back
no
to the
reason at
Chantry
all.
if you really want.
Say my Mumbles for her
Yes.
final term
It
grade.
was my mother's house. Dead
You
one.
know,
the most
you joke
interesting
about
choice-
that.
Hayden said we have to
One of
move
the
away
most
if we
interesting
survive.
choices of Billy Shakespeare is that when he wrote the play Hambles,
I can't tell
he
you.
had
It's
protagonists
a
who
secret.
stab people, and there wasn't a reason for it. Nowhere in the text can an interpretation be made for why this person stabbed this
Alright.
guy. It just kind of
No.
quote came out of nowhere.
Father said I could have his sword when I grew up.
Have you
It was
watched Hamlet?
And
Have you
grandfather
read
was a great
Hamlet?
dragon slayer.
I
thought
so much of it is just like,
if I was
I
brave like
stabbed a guy
grandfather,
because I was feeling
I could
sad
use his
today.
sword and
What?
I was
kill the
feeling
bad
myself,
people
so
who
I
took
kind of
mother.
stabbed a guy through a curtain.
My girlfriend like drowned herself. Whatever, I don't
in
care.
the chest.
Time to
In
kill my
Muslim.
buddies.
I would
Father
love
gave me a
to
key,
rewrite Hamlet
but I'm not
for
supposed to give to anyone.
2021 because it is so ridiculous how Hamlet acts. He should not be allowed to act that way.
Ham plus let. On like 2 or 3 occasions, people have accosted me and demanded to know my
I can't
opinions
give
of
it to
Romeo
you.
plus Juliet by
It-
Bas Luhrmann.
As fathers.
What do you think? What do
Hayden
you
would be
think then?
so mad if I did.
I don't even know if I have an opinion. Like, okay,
You could.
like some of the art
Maybe you
direction
could
is kind of cool, and I like kind of
give
people.
John
my
Leguizamo's
sister money.
hot.
John
She
Leguizamo
said
was
if we
very
had
hot in
money,
that movie.
Yeah. Right.
The Mercutio
Even if
character is
Mother
hot in
is
that
dead.
movie,
Oh meow.
but like, it doesn't work.
All right.
Do you?
Here's
I'm
the
gonna
key.
go to a gas station and
I
ask
hope
someone
you
if
use
they
it to
bite
kill a
their
lot of
thumb
those
at
bad
me, sir.
I should.
Yeah, like it's a very
Go back to the
stupid
Chantry.
adaptation of Romeo and Juliet,
Good
which is a
luck.
play that I don't particularly like.
No one likes Romeo and Juliet. When
Except for
Romeo and
people who
Juliet,
really like Romeo and Juliet.
no. When Romeo and Juliet fucking aired.
When Romeo and
At the
Juliet aired in
Globe?
the 16th century.
Everyone who
Romeo
saw
and
it,
Juliet.
no, for serious. Everyone who saw it was like, "This is dumb. Let's have a good time and laugh at it." That's what happened when Romeo and Juliet first aired for everybody. It's like Don Quixote. Everyone thought Don Quixote was so hilarious when it was written, but you read it now and you're like, "Oh my God, is that me? Am I Don Quixote? Fuck!"
This man has skewered me. He has put me on read from the 16th century. I felt very stupid because I was in a moment of extreme hubris. I ordered a copy of Don Quixote in Spanish, and then it arrived and it was in English, and I'm like, I don't actually want to read Don Quixote in English. Checkmate.
Everyone talks about
Well,
how
it looks
funny
like
Don
Owen's
Quixote is.
finally
Oh, what a
doing the
funny thing.
repairs
No,
we need.
it's fucking sad.
Damn fool is
The
falling
whole
over
thing makes
drunk
me
and still
fucking
manages
sad.
to make smithying look
Yeah.
easy. Good enough, I say. I'll
It's like,
inform
oh,
Bantig and the militia
Mumbles,
is
you
ready
should
to
read
fight.
Moby Dick. You like
give those
literature. Why aren't
bastards
you
a
reading
welcome
Moby
they won't
Dick? I'm
soon
not gonna
forget.
read Moby Dick. There's no world where I read Moby Dick.
I hope you're right.
I've been thinking about reading
We may
Moby
just
Dick.
be village folk,
Fuck.
but we're going to
Everyone
fight
I
like
know is
there's
telling me,
no
read
tomorrow.
Moby Dick. It's so good. Read Moby Dick. No, motherfuckers, I'm not reading Moby Dick.
Did the stream hiccup?
No, it's still going.
Huh. It stopped for me. That's weird. I have never
I'm
heard
sorry.
anyone say Moby Dick is a good read. Like,
What?
Ever.
I get accosted every fucking day. Mumbles, read
spirits are
Moby
high
Dick.
tonight.
Mumbles.
Why would you
Far
read
better
Moby
than I
Dick?
expected,
It's
to be
Hey
honest.
there, young lady. Could
Wynn's
you come over here
presence
for a
makes
moment?
the
Have
men a
you
bit
read the
more
book
comfortable.
Moby Dick? I think you'd really
We
get a
have
shoot
two
out of
more
it.
veterans on
Every
our side
day,
tonight.
it's like, why
Since you
haven't you read
convinced
Moby
Owen to
Dick?
start
I don't know,
repairs,
because
we're
I'm busy
pretty
watching
well armed
Columbo,
now.
and every episode
That
is
is a
like an hour and
relief,
20
let me tell
minutes.
you.
I'd rather be watching
Overall,
that.
I'd say the
Thank
militia's
you.
very
Have you
ready to
watched the
fight.
TNG movies
Never
yet?
thought I'd say that.
No,
There you
we're
go.
working
Oh,
towards that. And
okay.
also, I don't know if it's going to turn into the same thing with like... Oh no, we did watch,
You'll
where's
find
the one
him
where
and
he
his
meets
men at
Cap-
the mill by the
That's
bridge.
Next Generation
Generations.
movies, right?
I
Yeah.
have a
He
good
meets,
feeling
he meets
something
Captain
tonight.
Kirk, and he's like, "Oh no, a boulder fell on you. I'm sad." And Kirk's like, "At least I won't die alone." It's like, "Yeah, that's nice."
Yeah, funny story about that. In the original script and the way they originally shot it, Soren just shoots Kirk in the back, and he dies. And that didn't test well with test audiences for
No.
I can't imagine why nobody liked that. And so they changed it to him falling off a bridge.
No, I actually, when I was watching it, I recognized the area that he was in because it was all shot in like California sea
Yeah,
lands,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I was like, "Oh, I fucking know this area. Like, I should get a cabin around there. Fuck."
not looking for company.
Then the Enterprise crashed. That movie sucks.
It was well. I really liked the Data stuff because I could relate to. I don't know, over emoting.
The line must be drawn here.
No, that's the next one.
I know. I haven't seen I haven't actually seen Star Trek Generations.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I think.
But you do.
Or the first one, or the. I actually haven't seen Wrath of Khan.
Just because you're an elf doesn't mean
Wrath of Khan's good. You should at least see Wrath of Khan.
Have you at least seen the Whale movie?
Don't fucking listen to him.
This is a list of Star Trek films I've seen. Number 1, the Whale movie.
No!
Okay.
Number 2, number 2, I saw First Contact, and number 3, I saw Nemesis.
Doesn't mean you can go around threatening people.
Nemesis.
Why?
Is dog shit.
Why did you?
I didn't. As a child, the whole thing made me incredibly uncomfortable because I was like, nobody else actually wanted to watch it. We got it like from Netflix or whatever, and everybody's like, this movie seems like it sucks. So I watched it. I'm like, wow, this is a really gross, awful movie. I feel really unclean watching this shit.
More than I bargained for.
No, thank you.
I didn't like have an internet to tell me not to watch Star Trek Nemesis.
I never said anything about monsters.
If only you were told not to be a nerd by someone.
Yeah. If only somebody had beaten me up instead of making me watch Nemesis. So yes, I've also seen First Contact in the Whale movie. I think. Oh yeah, and I've seen the J.J. Abrams movie, and then I saw the one with like the dirt bikes. I didn't see Wrath of Khan. J.J. Abrams.
Okay, I didn't hate the J.J. Abrams movie just because I really enjoyed the people that they cast for the roles. I thought really good.
Yeah,
that's why I liked it.
That's the only thing I like about it, though.
You get to see Spock again. Leonard Nimoy's in the first one. It's just nice. It's just nice to see him again.
He's also briefly in the second one.
Oh, that's right. The second one kind of sucks.
They phone in and say, "Hey, we're dealing with Khan," and he's like, "Well, shit."
Here, this is a letter from them. It has
so we found a little
instructions and
spy
everything.
from Logain.
Keep it. Do whatever you want with it. I just thought I was serving the king and
who is
making
he?
A bit of coin on the side.
He's some elf that they hired.
I do believe you.
All right,
Kill him.
I'll do it. Thank you for your mercy.
But we need him
I won't
to shoot
forget
zombies.
Double kill. I mean, look up all of the little kill noises.
Wait, so why do we not like the Whale movie?
Yes.
What's wrong with A Voyage Home?
I have actually never seen it. I just like making fun of it.
It is absolutely the dumbest. Okay, here's the plot of the Whale movie. A giant space probe shows up and starts blowing up the Earth because it wants to talk to some whales.
No, thank you. That sounds fucking lame.
And so Kirk and crew in stolen Klingon bird of prey go back in time to present-day 1986 San Francisco, and go through a bunch of wacky hijinks wherein at one point Chekhov is briefly mistaken for a Soviet spy in order to beam up some whales and take them back to the future. That's the plot
cute.
of.
It's basically a broad comedy with the Star Trek cast in the 1980s.
Hello there, friend.
Well, I don't hate that.
Can't say we've ever
Yeah,
met
it has almost
Strange
kind of like a
little village, I
Muppet
take it.
vibe to it
Haven't
in a
had many
way.
travelers lately.
Yeah.
All this nonsense is bad for business. Bet you regret coming, yes?
Like, not to, like, yeah, I'm just gonna name jokes. There's a gag where, like, Bones is walking through a hospital and she's like, "What's wrong with you?" And she's like, "Oh, dialysis." And he's like, "Dialysis? Oh, give me a break." He just like gives her a pill and walks by, and then like when they're walking out of the hospital, she's like, "I grew my kidney back. It grew back."
Yeah.
That sounds amazing. Okay, I changed my mind.
Sulu steals a helicopter and then accidentally turns on the windshield wipers and can't figure out how to turn them off.
Fuck yes.
Scotty uses an apple II to give a dude the formula for making transparent aluminum so that the dude will give him a bunch of plexiglass to make a tank for whales.
And despite knowing how to do that, he doesn't know how to operate the Apple II and keeps trying to talk into the mouse to give it orders.
Jesus.
Bones is just there going, getting increasingly exasperated.
The bottom line takeaway is that, by the time they got to that movie, they clearly just didn't give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
There is no universe where I won't enjoy that. I will watch it as soon as I can. That sounds amazing.
Okay. I will. We will stop naming jokes from the Void Child.
You have convinced me. All you had to say was friends having fun.
Yeah, it's friends
That's
having
all
fun.
I just want friends having fun.
No, I suppose you could.
We could do a watch party of that.
Something else I can get for you?
Is that a thing you can do?
I think so.
You can at least okay, so a watch party is content, or a watch party is just a thing to do.
Either one.
I mean, yeah. As content, it would have to be an audio track you could play over Star Trek.
Right. Yeah. Or a live stream that was hey, sync up here and hit go now, or something like that.
Fine. Make them quick.
Yeah.
Why? When them creatures attack, I lock
Someone
myself
in the Discord just compared me to Jadzia and Dax. Who's that?
What's the point in getting myself
Oh
killed?
no, really? I don't think he's
makes me a
that
coward.
cool.
Then I'm a coward.
They were commenting on me being audibly excited that I got the miniskirt model.
But Baron Tegan said we didn't have to. He said.
Oh, I think that's unfair.
Fine, I'll go.
See, this is why it's sad that Chris doesn't come, because he's been watching Deep Space Nine, the series where Jadzia Dax is in it, and he.
Is this a reference to that episode where they go back to the '60s show?
No.
She is in that episode.
Okay.
No.
Hello, fellas.
I hope your
Dax is
helping
just
makes
a really cool chick that I would like to have be my girlfriend. So therefore, you are not cool enough to be Dax, in my opinion.
I have no way of checking your math on this.
Yeah. No, I really would love it. If I was in Star Trek and I was just some stupid officer slinging drinks at the bar, I would love to have Dax be my girlfriend. That sounds really nice.
She once dated a dude that had a giant transparent skull.
Yeah.
Rad.
She's wonderful.
What else do we have to do here? Sir Perth. Find a use for barrels of oil.
See, Claudia says so too. Dax, I feel is one of those entry women who was oh, am I bisexual right now? I might be. I might be bisexual because I have a crush on this woman, and I am also a woman. Oh shit!
She did have the first lesbian kiss on Star Trek, so.
Man, that's interesting.
That's not a very long Wikipedia article, even in the year of our Lord 2021.
I knew this time would come.
The
I
list
should have
needs
listened to
expanding.
your wife. Don't sign that paper, she said. They might pay you a few sovereigns now, but they'll be back. Blast. I'll see you.
Did you
on
guys
the
ever
front
see that
lines,
really
I suppose.
thirsty, Spock Kirk ship novel that was canon until it wasn't?
No, thank you. What was that all about?
There's a novel where it's that was written. I think it was Kirk and Spock specifically.
Yeah.
It was those two characters, and it was written the woman who wrote it in a way where it very strongly implied a romantic and possibly physical relationship between the two of them had happened, and was kind of underpinning it. And they published it because the people who were the publishers did not pick up on any of that subtext.
Oh, that's amazing. Actually,
I mean, if you want to get down to it, modern fan fiction and also slash fiction as a genre literally are a result of Star Trek. The slash in slash fiction literally refers to Kirk slash Spock. That's where it came from.
Definitely the modern Western version of that. Although
I must admit,
I was gonna say that's why I said no thank you, because I feel a lot of slash fiction can get a little predatory. What's happening? what is this? Some kind of weird fantasy that you have about these two characters, and it's not at all like grounded in any kind of reality. But sometimes it's good.
Is, then.
So
thank you kindly.
Right.
I am Sir Perth.
I think
recently in direct
is it
service
Collision
with
Course was the novel?
For
or
now,
Killing
my charge
Time?
is defending the village
Oh,
from
yeah.
these evil assaults.
No, I don't know. I'm trying to
Would
find
I
like
chose not to seek out the urn of
specific.
ashes, perhaps
Like
I would have
there's
fended
like a
off whatever
list that
evil
like breaks
befell the
down
castle,
all of the
or
stuff
perhaps
that
I would be
existed
dead.
in the novel,
Oh, well,
which was then like
with a
edited
great
out
warden
in the next
paving our
edition.
defense, perhaps all is not lost.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's a quote. Although Kirk had been as dumbfounded as the others, he was pleased to note that he had recovered first and was now handling all this with a degree of command presence. But it still felt painful to be reminded so powerfully and unexpectedly of his friendship and affection for Spock. Theirs had been the touching of two minds, which the old poets of Spock's home planet had proclaimed as superior even to the wild physical love, which affected Vulcans every 7th year during Pon farr.
For the onslaught as we could possibly be.
How do you not pick up on that?
Oh, that's actually really nice. That's nice.
There's like more. Let's see. Where's the fucking blog post? There's like a Tumblr post that had like screenshots.
See, and that's what I'm talking about. Is like Sherlock.
Yes,
like, go do yourself a favor and don't search for Sherlock on Tumblr if Tumblr even still exists. Like, it feels very gross and predatory, but when it's a good ship, then it's good. When it's a good ship, it's good.
What happens in Sherlock? How does that work?
So, okay, so there is this other, the guy who created Doctor Who did a whole Sherlock show, right, on the BBC.
Yeah.
He had a hot guy playing Moriarty, and he had Cumberbatch playing Sherlock, and all of the girls, most of them like teenagers to college-age girls, really wanted Sherlock and Moriarty to kiss. And the way that they wrote it and expressed it, most of the time came across as predatory to me. Of like, okay, this is weird. Like, it's just like this weird fantasy thing that you have. It's not like grounded in anything. And so I've always been kind of like grossed out by it. But like, when it's nice, when it has like real like feeling towards it, like Spock and Kirk make sense. They've been together their whole lives, they've been friends forever, of course, but like Sherlock and Moriarty, like I don't know if I'd ever fucking ship that. I feel like they're not gonna kiss, or maybe they kiss once and they don't like it. I don't know, it just was weird to me. It was just weird.
It does not help that Sherlock is very much written. It is a story written by a straight dude. Or no, actually, no. Now that I think about it, isn't Moffat gay?
I don't know. But like it comes off very much as like a story that is written in such a way that like there's obvious subtext between Watson and Sherlock in a way that probably was not immediately intended, but is definitely there. I don't have a problem with reading between the lines and all that stuff. I think that's kind of cool, but sometimes there's something about like that 2010 internet era where it felt like it wasn't about I am gay, so I want to make other like character pairings that I think would be cool. It's like I want to see these two guys together because that's what I want. It's like, that's kind of weird. Please don't do that.
I know what you mean. Kind of like the
that's
kind
not
of like
you.
the bad yaoi shit.
Yeah, like that has nothing to do with like you or your preferences. You're just like forcing these two things together because you think it would be kind of hot to see two guys kiss, and it's like, yeah, but I don't know, like it just doesn't feel authentic. It's not like for example in Inquisition, Iron Bull and Dorian get together if you don't romance either of them, and that's beautiful. I'm glad. That's great. I'm glad that they found love. I'm happy for them. But when it's like predatory and like I want to see these guys kiss really bad, it's just like, please back off. Please. That's enough. That's enough for me. Thank you.
It comes from, you're saying it comes from like kind of more of a fetishistic perspective line.
That's
a
it.
relationship.
Yeah. It just makes me feel uncomfortable. It's just like, that's not really.
I know what you mean. It's like this is someone who doesn't really like see gay people as people, just like as toys.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It doesn't feel authentic. I mean, of course there's some, but like and fan fiction is wonderful, but like
no, like you're right. That's some real shit. That I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Moffat, by the way, is married to a woman. I don't know if there's any. I honestly have no idea if there's like.
I have no opinion
I don't
about
remember.
him.
Maybe I'm
Or
thinking of
Sherlock.
someone else.
Yeah.
I could do that for you.
No, you can't. You can't do that for me because you have insufficient skill. Sorry, I'm getting increasingly frustrated with Liliana not being able to pick chests.
Okay. Let's see. Killing Time. So the novel that I was talking about is Killing Time. It's Star Trek. Comparison of the original. Publisher mix-up. Author comments. Oh, come on. Where's the juicy shit?
Bevan said you were the one who found him. I can't possibly repay you.
All right, I'm gonna give me a minute here because I definitely want to find this.
Bevan told me about Grandfather's sword.
Okay, here we go. Uncensored
So you have
versus
it, then?
censored.
I suppose it won't go to waste, at least.
So we got this sword, like, that's a family heirloom from this kid, and we convinced him to give it to us at least temporarily for the battle, and then maybe we'll pay for it or give it back. Do we want to keep it? Do we want to pay for it? Do we want to give it back to them? It is a decent sword for early game.
I don't.
Go for it. Give it back.
Yeah.
Return it after the battle.
Yeah.
Pay him for it. These people
pay
need
for
money,
it.
right?
I have no idea what it's worth, to be honest.
Why do you care? Kirk
And you
asked
found
at last,
Bevan.
meeting the Vulcan's
I
eyes,
couldn't ask
and
you for
Spock
money.
felt himself weaken under the human scrutiny. He glanced away from the intense hazel globes,
only 100
but the stakes were too high to permit intimidation to interfere with logic. The Vulcan
thank
shivered, glancing forlornly
That's
across the
certainly a
room to
lot
the
of
discarded
coin.
shirt.
How
Yet he
can I
knew that no
ever
amount of
repay
clothing
you?
could cover his psychic nakedness. Kirk could strip him to the marrow with a single
I
question.
just know it. Thank you again.
This is from a very
really
not.
nice.
this
No,
is
that's
from, like, a
extremely
very
straight. I don't know what you're
heterosexual
talking
novel.
about.
That's really nice. It's
I
about
hear
two
both Murdoch and
guys
Sir
who
Perth
knew
are
each
ready for
other for a
nightfall.
long
Excellent
time. Not
Of course.
romantic, not
well.
romantic,
Luck be
just
with you,
really
friend.
good guys. I don't know. I like shit
What is
like
it you
that.
need,
I feel like that's great. That's good fan fiction.
I
Yeah,
have
it
done
really
all I
is,
can
like-
for them. I
Okay,
pray
so like
for
you're
them
saying
each
like
night
it
and
like
seek
it started
the
with
Maker's
like
forgiveness
Spock.
for their
Like
sins before they
I've been
face their
encountering that a
deaths.
lot also
What
with like
Sir Perth seeks is
Aubrey
something that
Maturin
is not in my
books
power to give.
that are like I guess I think that, like Star Trek is kind of based on,
Okay.
Sir
where it's
Perth
like
believes that
it's the
I can
novel.
protect
The
them
novels are
against
about
these
like this kind of
creatures.
sea captain
A
dude
shield
and
only
this
the Maker
like.
can provide.
Okay.
And that I withhold this
So here's the
power.
thing.
Well, can't
I'm
you
gonna
just tell him
say.
the Maker will watch
They're
over
not perfect
him?
books, but if you
Morale
have
is a
anybody in your
powerful
life
thing,
who's
you
like
know.
kind of like a young guy
You
who's
want me to let
kind of
them
falling
think
down
the
like a
Maker
nasty
protects
rabbit
them in
hole
real
of like toxic masculinity
I
and
will
shit,
not lie to them.
where like all he cares about is sort of like warrior depictions of men and kind
I
of
suppose
like
their belief in the
shying
Maker's
away
power
from
could
like
inspire them,
men as emotional
seems like
creatures.
His favorite
Very
movie is
well.
Fight Club.
If it keeps
Okay.
them
Remember
alive,
Fight Club?
I will do
Give
what I
him
must.
like the Master and
I have a
Commander
number
and
of
like
silver
Aubrey
glassed
Maturin
holy
like
symbols.
books.
Tell Sir
'Cause,
Perth that
like-
you can have them, and that
And this,
wearing them will
it is
confer
like
the
exactly the
Maker's
kind of like pornographically
please,
detailed like
Let me tend to these
military
poor folk.
shit in terms
I
of
must
like
do what I can.
oh he's like
And I
their commanding
suggest you
officers,
do
this
the
is
same.
like the military discipline, this is like what their lifestyle is like, but at the same time it's a book about how like the dudes who have this like really close bond on the ship are just like swung around by the tail of their emotions. Of like their kind of of sadness, of like strange melancholy, of longing, of like frustration, where like they're having these like very intense like passionate exchanges with each other and like kind of relations and connections with one another. And the books are oppressively complicated in terms of like the military shit, but like you can kind of just sort of skim through it. And like the thing that happened was that like two people immediately got really into these books when they were coming out in like the middle of the 20th century. Is
The
like
Knights of Redcliffe are
the
ready
kind
to
of
fight at your
Napoleonic
disposal.
history buff who like owns a Shaco and like makes these intricate
Have you
like
spoken
pewter
to your
armies and
mother?
like only hangs out with
Has she
other men
offered
in pubs, and just like
Must we do this?
is like, probably not terribly pleasant to be around. And like women who would write ship fiction about the
worn by their
two
princes,
main
well,
characters.
That would more than suffice.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Of course I do.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of the stuff that makes me feel like it's disingenuous.
I will send some men to
that
collect the
is
Please
like
give my regards to Mother Hannah
male
for seeing so
love,
sensitive.
like men love. I feel like sometimes is written by women as a fetish. So like,
and it's like kind of a superficial fetishistic thing, like porn for dudes.
Yeah, that's interesting.
As you wish, Grey Warden.
Yeah.
Make a watch over you.
Got into some weird territory tonight.
Yeah.
What happens when you're preparing a town for the zombie apocalypse?
Can you imagine just like running behind the fucking Grey Warden, Harrow Ferelden, where it's like, yeah, I don't know, like I feel like some slash fiction makes me kind of uncomfortable. See how that could be. Have you ever read that old ship book, that novel about those two gentlemen? It's very hard to get through, but it's nice about feelings. Oh, interesting. It's like everyone who the Grey Warden is interacting with is like, what the fuck? Who are these people?
I think there's like such a bait and switch for some guys who get into those books because they're like, oh, this is gonna be all about like being a macho stoic dude, like facing danger and peril on the seas. And then they like pick up the book and like the second book in the series, literally I think the first like 150 pages are just like all set on land, and it's just like literally a Jane Austen situation where they're like living together in a cottage, but they both kind of like women from the same aristocratic unmarried family, and like there's like kind of that they're arranging like social engagements with one another where they're like kind of meeting and like kind of chaste ways. And it's like they don't even get to the sea and start shooting other ships with cannons until like 200 pages into the fucking book. And then there's like an 80-page digression where the whole like driver of tension is that like the naturalist like Steve Maturin brings a sloth aboard, and it doesn't like the captain dude, and the captain dude can't get the sloth to like him, and the sloth is hanging out with the rest of the crew, and they're like giving the sloth food and shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but then it's like terrified of the captain, and it like runs away whenever he comes over to it, and he's just like feeling like hurt. Like, why doesn't the sloth like me? And so then he like tries to feed the sloth, and he like gives it some booze, and then it like comes back to him like, hey, can I get some more of that shit? And he's like, finally, I've connected with the sloth.
Holy
so he like
shit.
starts sneaking at the sloth his rum ration, but then at some point like they're just like getting shit-faced together in the cabin, and the naturalist is like looking for the sloth, and he walks in on these two dudes like drunk off their ass together, and he's so mad.
Oh
like
my
he's
God.
like, the line is like, you've debauched my sloth.
Dude, this sounds like a real story from like wrestling in the 1980s, just so you know. This sounds exactly how locker rooms were in the 1980s.
Alright, so unfortunately we're getting to the point where we really should put people in equipment that actually gives them bonuses.
Yes, please do this. Claudia, I agree. I would love to have more femme slash. I feel like it's like when you read Haunting of Hill House and you see the two female characters interacting, and you're like, am I?
Greatly bolstered my men's confidence.
Am I into
You
this?
couldn't have armed us with anything better than our faith in the
Oh, I might. Oh, okay. Like there's little
There is still time before the
subtle
sun goes
things
down.
like that I think is
If you
really
have not yet
powerful,
spoken
and
to
I
Murdoch,
don't know.
or if
We'd
there
like
is
to see
anything
more
you have planned.
things.
That was wild, because I haven't read the book. I heard
Yeah.
so good. I did see the movie.
Oh,
And
please read it. It's short. Please read it.
Yeah, okay. But I was like watching the movie, and I was like thinking to myself, like, oh man, like they would, if this relation, like this character would totally be read as
Knights
gay
of Redcliffe
today.
are ready to
And
fight
then they
at your
basically just
disposal.
say, oh yeah,
There
this
is still
character's
time
gay. I'm
before
like,
the
what the
sun-
fuck?
Good luck to you then.
No, in
And
the
may the Maker
book,
watch
it's
over us
like
all.
they cuddle together, they like lay on the rug together, they talk about stuff, picnics, and it's like, oh, I am not only into this, like I am picking up on something. It's like, I just think that there should be more books about that kind of like awaken those things in you so you're more aware of them early on in your life instead of later. Yeah, it's lesbian super text, exactly.
Circling back to wrestling.
Yes.
So I still have.
What is
I
going
still
on
have
with
like.
this guy's
I have
eyes?
not watched any more wrestling, like, since we started doing this show, than before. Like before I had watched. Like I have not actually sat down and seen like I don't know an episode of wrestling.
Uh-huh.
But like I feel like you have discussed it, and then I've been with people who are discussing it so much that sometimes I'll see something, I'll be like, this is just like wrestling.
Okay.
That happened to me really hard at the end of Yakuza 4.
Okay, well, aren't there actual wrestlers in that one?
There are wrestlers in multiple
Yeah.
actual wrestlers in multiple Yakuza games, not Yakuza 4, I don't think.
Okay, so please explain it to me, and I will tell you if it is wrestling adjacent.
So I'm gonna. I was about to say I'm gonna spoil it, but like I'm not actually going to include any like details like, oh, this character does that. But it's like, you know, if you want to come in completely fresh, skip the next like minute or so. So here's what happens in like the penultimate boss fight cutscene of Yakuza 4. The main characters are like, how do we get the villains to show up? And they're like, well, we have like 100 billion yen, so let's put it on the rooftop of this skyscraper.
Oh hell yeah!
So they have like a pyramid of money in the like in the middle of this like set, or then there's like 4 rings around it, and then like one villain shows up and he's like, ah, here's the money, I'm going to take it. And then another villain shows up and he's like, ha, you came here for the money too? And then they narrate to each other why they're going to be the one to walk away with the money. And then another villain shows up, and they take turns like that, all these villains showing up and like narrating what their agendas have been all this time and why they're going to take the money. And then the 4 protagonists show up in a helicopter, and they're all watching matching business suits that they've never worn at any other point in the series. But since they're a team now, they've all got the same suit, like black suit on. And they hop off and they scatter the bills, and then they each like pick the character who is their nemesis from the game and pair off and go to the different rings and fight them.
Oh yeah, that couldn't be more for wrestling. And in fact, we have something called Money in the Bank, and last year's Money in the Bank took place on top of the WWE skyscraper. And
wow,
the
they
goal...
ripped off Yakuza 4. I'm mad.
Money in the Bank is if you get this briefcase, then you can cash in a chance at the title shot at any time that you want. And so it's a really big deal to get it. And so they decided to put it on top of a skyscraper. Yeah.
See? Okay, so I was right, basically.
Especially the matching gear. That's so wrestling. That's so wrestling. Although usually the bad guys are the ones in the matching gear, and it's all of these heroes come together despite their differences to fight the bad guys.
Oh, well, the other pro wrestling thing about it is that, like, I think every single other playable character, there's 4 playable characters in that game, and you're each of the 4 characters I mentioned. And I think every single other one of them gets a scene where they fight, like, the toughest main character for some reason or another.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's pro wrestling. That's very pro wrestling. I think my Twitter mutual, John Cena, would agree.
Wait, does he actually follow you?
Yes, look it up.
Oh my god.
He is an actual Twitter mutual, John Cena.
Can we get, like, can we get John Cena in the next Yakuza game?
I thought you were gonna ask if I get him on his stream. I would be too embarrassed. I don't know if I can be in the same room as John Cena.
John Cena absolutely should not be on our streams.
Oh my goodness, no.
I would be embarrassed. Like, afterwards, I'd be like, listen, John, I'm sorry. That was a waste of time.
One of my favorite John Cena facts is he's currently in the new Suicide Squad movie.
Oh, yeah.
And, okay. So in movies, whenever you're eating on camera, you usually have a spit bucket. So you eat some food and then you spit it out so you can do the next take. And John Cena was like, no. I'm gonna actually eat these hot dogs, and we're gonna just keep doing takes, and I'm not gonna spit any of it out. He ate 36 hot dogs to get the shot. So
that's pretty great.
Yeah.
I also read that apparently he's like he did his improv was so fucking filthy that there's no way it's gonna be in the final cut.
Oh, I bet. Oh, I love him so much. I love John Cena so very much.
I'm actually really looking forward to that movie.
Me too.
It is actually the first like DC Universe film that I'm legitimately excited for.
Margot Robbie, she like changed the game. DC Comics was gonna fucking die a death if it wasn't for Harley Quinn.
Yeah. It's like one of the few parts of the franchise that's working.
Have you seen the new Wonder Woman movie? It's dog shit.
Oh my god, it's so bad. Can we talk about that?
Yes.
Like, what the fuck?
it should have been amazing. It took place in the fucking 1980s. The bad guy was doing an impression of Trump. Not to mention, the guy who was playing him is the fucking Mandalorian.
I know, I had just like watched the season 2 Mandalorian finale like 2 days before I saw that movie, so it was a very strange transition.
Oh, I bet. No, he's very goofy. He's a goofy man, but he plays like this, like it's basically fucking Trump, and so
except made sympathetic by the narrative because he's got a sad little kid.
Well, like, it's Trump, but he cares about his kids.
Yeah.
What? No! Why can't we just have a full-on bad guy that we feel good about defeating? Why do we have to, like, do this, like, shit where we're like, oh, you should feel bad because your kid's there, and, like, not beat the shit out of the bad guy?
And there's the whole really uncomfortable bit where Chris Pine shows up in somebody else's body and they don't care.
They still do it. She still does it with him, and that, my friends, is bad.
Like, what the hell? They didn't have to do it that way. All the other wishes in that movie fucking just pop shit out of nowhere.
Like an unforced error.
Reprehensible.
There's so many weird editing things in that movie too. Like, this doesn't usually stick out to me, but like there are a number of conversations where you'd be like having, you know, Wonder Woman and Chris Pine are having a conversation and they're doing, you know, standard shot, reverse shot, and like, you know, Wonder Woman would say something and then, you know, touch Chris Pine's shoulder, and then it would reverse shot and her hands would be back down at her sides or something, and then it would reverse shot and her hands back up. It's like, clearly they cut those conversations differently than they had originally been shot, because like directors care about this sort of thing.
Josh, I did not even understand why Chris Pine was alive through 85% of that film. I was like, why is he here? And why are they talking about Diana's wish? They never really showed it as far as I know. No. He was just alluded to. And so I'm like, what does this have to do with the wish stone? We don't know. It sucked.
Absolutely my favorite dumb thing in that movie, though, is, so Wonder Woman in the final battle is wearing a new suit of armor. Okay? This suit of armor doesn't really come into the movie at all. It has nothing to do with anything that's going on. But they need to have that armor explained, so it makes sense why she's got this armor with this crazy wing stuff. So, 3/4 of the way through the film, Diana and Chris Pine are at her house, and they go into her closet full of, like, you know, antiquities and, like, AV equipment to do something entirely different. And Chris Pine looks over at the wall and sees this armor just in a box, and he's like, what's that? Yeah. And then we launch into this, like, 3-minute long flashback sequence that explains all the backstory of the armor that has nothing to do with the rest of the fucking film.
Okay, but I'm really proud of myself because I saw Linda Carter's eyes in the armor, and I was like, that's fucking Linda Carter. Fuck yeah. And I was right. She was there. But I've never even seen an episode of the Wonder Woman TV show, and I knew it was fucking Linda Carter. That's how good I am.
And then
That's how good I am.
She shows up in the post credits, like, teaser thing. But again, it's like, you know, she didn't have anything to do with what was going on in the movie, and it's super ambiguous of, like, what her character being alive even means. Like, it's...
Point of order here. We should probably wrap up once this combat's over.
Yeah.
Hour almost.
My bad. It's been over 3 hours. Good job, team.
Oh shit, it's been over 3 fucking hours. Holy crap.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm sober. I came into this drunk, and I'm fully sober.
I forgot my beer, so I didn't drink it, so I was sober the entire time.
Yikes, that's fucking terrible.
That sucks.
That sucks. Hey, anyone who stuck around, thank you for sticking around. Have you seen... I'm on spoiler warning sometimes now. Have you seen all the videos I'm in? It's quite a few. Once you guys are done with Pirates or whatever, Booty Hall, then just let me know what game you guys are doing, and maybe I'll show up for a whole season. I don't know.
I mean, we really don't know how much longer we're even gonna do.
We don't have a next. We don't have a next.
Oh shit, Murdoch
plan,
died.
to be honest. I'm actually suggesting we don't do another pirate season. Like I think we got most of what we wanted out of that season. We did a story session at the end there, and now like, all right, so I'll be completely honest here. I'm back in a position where like my sea husband is getting up, like doesn't have the same obligations, so like we're playing daily again.
What?
And it's kind of like that's the
no.
thing.
What does that mean?
My sea husband. Oh, that's my co-op partner.
Oh.
We've been playing. So I have a guy that I played a lot of co-op games with, and I've been doing it since like 2009. Jabbar is the username that goes by.
Although this victory came at
Jabbar,
great cost,
I love Jabbar.
we must remember
Yeah,
none of us would
and
be here
so like
were
when
it
we
not for the
played, I
heroism
was like
of
Sea of
these
Thieves.
good
I
folk
mentioned it
beside
to
me.
people. I was like, hey, anybody
I thank
want
you, dear
interested?
lady.
And he's
Truly
like, yeah,
you
I've got
make
an
us
opportunity.
smile
We had a
when
time
he
slot
sent
that
you
worked
here
out,
in
and we
our
played it.
darkest
And
hour.
we're like, oh man, it's gonna suck that we can only play this on weekends because of this time slot. Then we're like, well, what if we
Surely
missed
these
out on
people deserve
sleep
some
and
small
instead just played it
celebration,
2
don't you
hours
think?
every
There is
single
time
day?
yet.
That is a COVID coping mechanism for sure.
It was.
I'm proud of you.
It was great, and we became pirate legends in record time. It's actually I think it's currently like either my second or my third most played game on Steam.
Nice.
But so we've gone back to doing that because there's been another like issue where he's not actually able to physically go to his workplace.
Great.
Mm-hmm. And there's like the reward for playing during the season is like if you get to the end, you get like glowing eyes, and we're both like, we'll see if it happens.
We shall return with news as soon as we are able.
Playing Sea of Thieves a bunch just put me in the weird position of going, man, Bridge Crew would be way better if it were more like Sea of Thieves.
I saw that.
For sure. I've played 240 hours of Sea of Thieves, which probably does not impress many people, but I don't usually play one game a lot of hours.
Literally any amount of gameplay impresses me as an adult.
Good to see you in one piece.
You play for more than
Do you
20
have
minutes,
news of
I am
the lady
impressed.
I will say the one thing about the direction my life is taken is that I have significantly more time to play video games than I did when I was a teenager.
Now's the best time to go into the castle, though, and see
When I
for
was a
yourself.
teenager, I didn't have any time to play games.
Remember,
Now I've got
promise
plenty.
is a promise. Find my Velena.
But yeah, I
Why
don't
are
know.
games so long? Why are
Why
video
are
games so long? It's the other thing. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey again, and I'm like 80 hours into that game, and I'm like maybe 2/3 of the way done with it, and that's not even for like the DLC. That's just the base game. And it's like, why is this game so fucking huge?
I don't know. I've probably played like 300 hours of Dragon Age Inquisition, probably more.
Well, Dragon Age Inquisition's really big too. Like that game just has so
one
many
playthrough is like 100
zones.
hours.
Yeah.
All right, so let's
all right,
see.
yeah. So we saved some of the village. All of the people who survived.
Wonderful. Good
By
job
the-
with that fight. I hated that fight so much. I forgot to mention that, but that is one of my least favorite fights in this game.
Yeah.
Wow, by the end of next month, Sea of Thieves will be my most played game on Steam.
Nice.
And I got it this year. Or not this year, I got it in 2020, like late 2020, like October.
I call that a COVID win. We can
Yeah.
only get so many of those, but that's definitely a COVID win.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. We have hit the end, I believe, of the stream.
If you guys
time-
wanted us to bring the podcast back, good news, we did. We're just
Yeah.
doing it on Friday.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's not a problem.
What are you sorry about?
I'm sorry. I just feel like I just meet up with you guys and I just want to chat, and that's it's not
fine.
like it's not like let's talk about Dragon Age and like what's this next
I
quest?
mean,
Oh, there's a boy in the cupboard. Whoa.
There's a lot of Dragon Age and not as much to talk about Dragon Age. So.
I'll be honest. I went into this like I'm going to be completely frank in case your thing is going to turn around. I've got about 2 hours of things worth to say about Dragon Age, and I am rationing it.
You're gonna use it all during the Deep Roads.
Yeah,
the Deep Roads is when we're gonna get into like serious fucking Dragon Age lore analysis.
If we do Deep Roads, A, I want to be drunk, and B, I think if we can do a small like role-playing campaign, Rutskarn, that would be so cool. I would love that.
I mean, we could play my patented drunken tabletop role-playing game. Actually, we probably should.
Yeah.
This is a good idea. No, wait. All right, yeah, so hopefully we can bring this back to more regular, like every 2 weeks. January was pretty nuts for everybody, but yeah, see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.